I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Ooh, yeah.
Georgia's high-octane offense takes on Michigan State. Bowl week continues with the Capital One Bowl. Today at 1 Eastern on ABC. College football lives here.
Hello, I'm Doug Edwards, Director of Southern State Community College Truck Driving Academy. If you're looking for a new career in the trucking industry, my students are starting out at $30,000 to $50,000 in their first year. We offer a 3-week program and an 8-weekend program with 5 training locations in Ohio: Piketon, Wilmington, Columbus, Cincinnati, and Xenia. For more information, give us a call and start your new career today.
This is Little Fat Swallow, 285 pounds of jam, jive, and everything.
That was Fat Swallow, an American Idol if there ever was one, and I ought to know.
This joint is jumping. It's really jumping.
Hello, everybody. Ruben Studdard here, inviting you to the place where the joint really is jumping. The 30th anniversary production of the Tony Award-winning Best Musical, Ain't Misbehaving.
One performance only, January 7th at the Clay Center, presented by General Corporation. Tickets on sale now.
Entertainment Tonight, weeknights at 7:30 on WCHS-TV.
The following is a special presentation of ESPN College Football on ABC.
Fans of Michigan State and Georgia, some 65,000 strong, basking in the sun at the Florida Citrus Bowl Stadium here in Orlando. Georgia coach Mark Richt, in his 8th consecutive bowl game, arrives with All-American running back Knowshon Moreno. But Michigan State can answer in kind. All-American workhorse Javon Ringer. It's the 15th ranked Georgia Bulldogs against number 18, the Spartans of Michigan State. The SEC versus the Big Ten in the Capital One Bowl. This is the 2009 Capital One Bowl. Moments ago, the Bulldogs took the field looking for their 10th win in a campaign where injuries helped knock them off their preseason #1 perch. Good afternoon, everybody. Mike Patrick, Todd Blackledge. It's great to have you with us. A lot of similarities between these teams. Both finished at 9-3. Both out of power conferences. Both have strong-arm quarterbacks. But the best similarity for us is that each one has an All-American running back.
Yeah, 2 of the premier guys in all of college football. Most Georgia fans today wondering if this is the last time they'll see junior Knowshon Moreno in a Georgia uniform. He is spectacular. Now, he's got the strength to run between the tackles, but he also has that flash, that ability to make people miss in the open field. Really developed as a pass receiver this year as well, but he is special. For Michigan State, Javon Ringer is a senior. He is a picture of durability. 370 carries, never wore down, never missed a practice, just keeps getting better and better, stronger and stronger as the game, as the season wears along. 2 very special guys, fun to watch in today's ball game.
Should be a great one. We're coming up on the opening kickoff, but first, here's John Saunders in Pasadena.
Mike, thanks a lot. Not just Pasadena, but beautiful Pasadena. It is a terrific day here today as we get ready for the Rose Bowl, the 95th. This one pitting Penn State, the Nittany Lions of Joe Paterno against USC. Surprise, surprise, USC is back in another Rose Bowl. Welcome to Pasadena. John Saunders alongside of Craig James and Doug Flutie, a couple of guys who had a chance to suit up for some bowl games and had some great memories as well. But as you sit here in anticipation of this great day, what are you looking most forward to?
Well, I think I've been looking forward this whole month to watching USC. The last time I saw USC in person, it was at Oregon State, announced the game, and they got beat. And they've had to live with that this entire season. So I want to see USC on the field again with all those great athletes. And I also want to see Penn State. I want to find out if the Big Ten, can the Big Ten come out to the Rose Bowl with speed and play with USC? Because that's the only thing lacking on this football team. If there is a weakness, it would be speed. I think Penn State's a good team. I can't wait to watch them play.
You know, I think I'm just excited about the atmosphere itself. We walk out here and walk down on this field. I played in some bowl games, but you come in this atmosphere, and it's unbelievable. You walk out here, this is the most beautiful field I've ever seen. The sunshine, I want to kick the shoes off and go have a picnic. I come by the parade route and the floats. It's just an unbelievable atmosphere. The Rose Bowl being here all day is what I'm looking forward to.
Just leave your 9-iron in the bag, all right?
No, I know.
Don't take it out there. All right. The Outback Bowl happens to feature the only team to beat Penn State this year. That would be Iowa, facing South Carolina. Richard Stanzi looking 6 yards to Troy Strauss, 7-0. Sean Green also added his 18th rushing touchdown of the year. That's a school record. They're up 21-0. The Capital One Bowl is coming up next. Georgia and Michigan State.
We gotta get out of here. Don't rush me. I'm at Capital One Card Lab. With these new triple rewards, it's tough to decide which category to choose. Maybe travel? What do you think? Home improvement?
How about gas and groceries? Oh, restaurants! I know a great chop house.
Introducing triple rewards of your choice. Log on to Card Lab at CapitalOne.com to personalize your card.
T-Bone is to die for.
What's in your wallet?
Check this out. With this controller, your character will mimic your exact motions. See?
Sweet.
Now throw me a pitch, just like we're outside.
You're out. That ends the inning. Next up, shortstop.
Wanna get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, you can fly to destinations nationwide for just $49 to $99. Purchased by January 19th. Low fares, no hidden fees.
This is ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Welcome back to the Capital One Bowl. For the toss of the coin, here's Ryan Schneider, president of Capital One Credit Card. We'll talk about the subject on the minds of a lot of Georgia fans. We'll know Sean Marino and Matthew Stafford declare for the draft. We'll play Did You Know and find out how Walt Disney's dream became a reality. And we'll have a comprehensive and caloric review of the gastric phenomenon known as Todd's Taste of the Town. The weather here in Orlando, not exactly Chamber of Commerce today, a cool 65 degrees, but if you want cool, go to Athens, Georgia, where it's 43, or downright nasty, East Lansing, 24 with a wind chill of 11. The only thing we have to deal with here, Holly Rowe, the winds.
That's right, Mike. It will likely play a factor in this game today. It is swirling strong wind down here on the field. Georgia coach Mark Richt came out pregame and was trying to determine which way the wind was coming from, and it's hard to say. It's swirling. I asked him if that would affect his quarterback, Matthew Stafford. He said, I don't think so. Matthew has such a strong arm and throws such a hard football, it will not likely affect him. But I did watch the warm-ups for Michigan State. Brian Hoyer's ball was drifting just a little bit, and guys, obviously the kicking game will also be affected.
Okay, Holly. Blair Walsh has it teed up for Georgia. They won the toss, deferred to the second half. Otis Wiley, 21, and A.J. Jimerson, number 20, are deep for the Spartans of Michigan State. Riley. Across the 20, had a get, takes it to the 26-yard line. Let's take a look at today's impact players, brought to you by Capital One. Todd?
Well, it starts with Brian Hoyer, their senior quarterback out of Cleveland, Ohio, and his guy who's just gotten better as his career has gone along. His favorite receiver this year, Blair White, a junior out of Saginaw, Michigan. And then on the other side of the ball, the leader of the defense, a sophomore out of Cincinnati Moeller High School, Greg Jones, over 100 tackles for the second year in a row. A real dynamic defensive player.
First team all Big Ten as a sophomore. Ringer, of course, the most durable back in the country. Play action fake to him. And they throw it out in the flat to the fullback, Andrew Hawken. And Hawken with his 11th catch of the season. They like to throw to him. He's really good in space. 14 yards for Hawken on the opening play. You can check out the starting lineups for both ball clubs at the top of your screen.
And a great first call by coordinator Don Treadwell. You know everybody in the whole stadium is expecting to see Ringer on the first play. Fake it to him. Get Brian Hoyer a quick little throw to start the game. And a nice move of the chains right away for Michigan State.
McPherson checks in at fullback, and Ringer, who's not the biggest guy in the world, he's only 5'9", but he's got a really solid frame, 202 pounds, and he just doesn't seem to take full impact from anybody.
That's amazing, and his endurance and his durability really is the secret of his success this year. 371 carries now. Obviously, he's had a few weeks off. He said his body feels better now than it's felt all year because he's had 2 weeks off, but has done a little bit of everything this year.
This time they'll set up in the shotgun. Four-man Georgia rush, and the pass complete to Cunningham into Georgia territory at the 45-yard line. B.J. Cunningham out of Westville, Ohio, with his 36th catch of the season and a gain of 15 yards.
Brian Hoyer told us yesterday he's excited for the challenge in this game because he expects Georgia to load the line of scrimmage to stop Ringer, and he says this team that we're playing in Georgia plays more man coverage than we've seen all season. So as a quarterback, that's a challenge. If they're going to try to take the run away, they want to put the ball in his hands. He said, I'm ready for it.
Fake the flanker screen. And a gain of about 8 yards for Ringer as he goes straight up. Corey Irvin, the big defensive tackle, made the stop, but so far so good for that Spartans offensive line.
Yeah, the key will be balance. If they can continue to have run-pass balance and keep this Georgia defense guessing or back on their heels a little bit, then they'll have the advantage. Overall, the team speed of this Georgia defense will ultimately be a problem for Michigan State if they don't maintain that balance.
Second down, call at 3. Back to the I formation. Ringer, of course, the deep man. He'll get the carry and maybe lose a yard. As Geno Atkins was the first guy that got to stop. Mark D'Antonio, we talked to him earlier this week about being able to celebrate the success of 2 programs this year. He moved from Cincinnati. This is his second year, and he was very emphatic about not wanting to take any credit for what Cincinnati was doing, but let's face it, he deserves part of the credit for building that program.
Yeah, he laid a foundation. Brian Kelly certainly has done a great job of building on that. But
exactly.
Those guys that are seniors playing for Cincinnati in the bowl game tonight, they were brought there by Mark D'Antonio.
Now third down and almost 5. Pass nearly intercepted. Right in the hands of Akeem Dent as he went up, tipped it a couple of times, but couldn't hold it.
Well, Brian Hoyer trying to get it over Dent, and Dent shows his athleticism going up in the air, 6'2", and got up to be about 7'2" on that jump and almost came down with the interception.
They have some good linebackers on this ball club, but they have been decimated by injuries throughout the year, not only in the linebacking core, but along that defensive front. Aaron Bates will punt, and Logan Gray goes deep. They fake it. They've got to get to the 35, and they're not going to get there. So Michigan State gambles, and Mark Richt celebrating what the defense was able to do. Dannell Ellerbe took Hawken and brought him down.
The leader of the Georgia defense is this guy right here, Rennie Curran. Watch him read it and step up in the hole and make the play. They have a lead blocker and a big guy running, but Curran slips inside of the block of the center and gets right in there for the play. I mean, he is an undersized linebacker, but extremely fast and has great instincts, and that time he won the play.
Michigan State gambles and loses, but at least it's a good spot to do it because Georgia will get the ball at their own 36. You wouldn't have gained that much on the punt anyhow, so maybe a pretty good move by Mark D'Antonio. Chris Durham makes the first catch against Matthew Stafford, who's one of our impact players.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford, the quarterback, two outstanding receivers. Muhammad Massaquoi is a senior, A.J. Green, the freshman, and on defense, Rennie Curran, who we just mentioned.
Here's the screen. Marino breaks a couple of tackles down to the 41-yard line. He is a different kind of back, as you pointed out, Todd. He is more of a game breaker, the guy who can take you for 60 yards.
Yep. And right now, Georgia coming out with a no huddle. Speed up the tempo a little bit for Michigan State's defense.
Stafford with plenty of time. Throws to the outside, got it complete to Michael Moore. 21 yards, and Stafford had about 6 seconds to find somebody.
Yeah, Michael Moore was not open on his original route, but because the protection was so solid for Stafford, he was able to allow the receiver to get all the way past the linebackers to the other side of the formation.
This hurry-up prevents substitutions. Stafford on the keeper, and that did not look like a design play. I think they missed the handoff.
I don't know. I don't know if it was or not. I mean, it looked like it could have been a zone read, but once he started to run, he went for real. I think it was a design. Now, I think Noshaw thought he was supposed to get it.
That's right.
He was looking back for it.
Because of the way he reacted, he wasn't exactly flying out there to block somebody.
I think Stafford kept it on purpose, but Noshaw said, hey, that's my ball. You throw it, I run it.
And for Stafford, who is not known for his running, that was a really good gain and another first down for the Bulldogs. Marino on the toss, cuts it back. Could have been a loss of 3 or 4 and picked up nearly 2 as Eric Gordon, the linebacker, flashed inside to mess up the timing of the play, if nothing else.
Well, now we've got some substitutions. That pace really worked in Georgia's favor. It kept the same defensive personnel on the field for Michigan State. And as always the case, when one team maybe has a little bit more speed, it's putting guys out in space. And can people make plays in space? That'll be the challenge for Michigan State's defense today.
Stafford looks for the end zone, too high.
Boy, that is guy, too.
Intended for Harris. Mark Richt, his 8th year. He has taken this team to a bowl every single time that he has been the head coach at Georgia. 2-time SEC Coach of the Year and 2-time champion of the SEC. Green is now in, the freshman sensation, number 8 flank to the near side. Blitz coming. Stafford in trouble, goes down at the 14.
I think the fact that Georgia went to a huddle the last 2 plays allowed Michigan State's defense to get their feet under him and allowed Patrick Narduzzi to dial up a blitz on this big 3rd down play. They hadn't been able to get pressure on Stafford. But once they got their feet under him, they called a timely blitz and forced the field goal attempt.
Eric Gordon, the sophomore from Traverse City, Michigan, made the tackle. Walsh on for a field goal try, 32 yards. And Georgia capitalizes on its initial drive to take a 3-0 lead over Michigan State.
Now, which photo should I pick for my Capital One card? Which Jimmy should we choose? How about this one?
No, delete. Just 2 Jimmys left.
And delete. Spaghetti Jimmy wins. How cute is that? Well, I love it.
Personalize your card at Capital One Card Lab, where you make your card yours. Just log on at CapitalOne.com.
That's one latte.
Keep the change.
Whoa. You can use that change to get double the beef for only 89 cents.
Double the beef? You really just pushed a button.
Change the way you see change. Taco Bell's cheesy double beef burrito. A double portion of seasoned ground beef smothered in melty nacho cheese sauce. It's double the beef for only 89 cents.
Can I get some change, please?
Why pay more?
It goes 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds, making it faster than a BMW 550i, and it's more fuel efficient on the highway. The Pontiac G8 GT. Made by GM. Surprised?
Or get a 2009 Pontiac G8 starting at $25,479 during the Buick Pontiac GMC Red Tag event. Plus, get the best coverage in America. Hurry! Red Tag event ends January 5th.
It's gonna be a late one, people.
What a bummer, dude. Now you won't be able to watch me on DirecTV tonight.
Relax, Red. Look, I can easily set my home DVR to record you right from here. Done.
Wow.
You know, you're a little scary up close.
With DirecTV, you can easily set your home DVR from any cell phone or computer. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Tuesday, wait till you see what happens to our ugly American couple in France.
Look at that tower! Just like the one in Vegas.
I think the one in Vegas is bigger.
You just have to see what our hidden cameras catch.
You got beer here?
On the premiere of What Would You Do? Tuesday at 10 on ABC.
ESPN on ABC's special presentation of the Capital One Bowl is available in sparkling clear, high definition. Our Capital One Bowl fact, the Big Ten has won the last 4. The SEC hasn't won here since Georgia defeated Purdue in 2004.
That was a wild football game, the game that Georgia won. Georgia had a big lead. Purdue made a huge comeback, and the Bulldogs able to fight them off at the end.
Walsh to kick to Jimerson and Wiley, if you just joined us. Both teams have had the ball once. Michigan State faked the punt, turned it over to Georgia. They get a field goal out of it. Wiley, seam up the middle. Cuts back into tacklers at the 37-yard line. East Lansing, Michigan, the home of Michigan State, of course. A full 1,007 miles from beautiful Orlando. Athens a little closer, the home of the Bulldogs, only 397 miles away. So a lot of people from Georgia able to drive. But however you get here, we have enjoyed the weather and the hospitality all week. These are really, really nice people down here. 3 wide receivers set. Fake the pass, toss to Ringer, cuts it back.
Ringer across the 40-yard line.
Ellerby and Curran made that last tackle. Really good linebackers. Let's go to Holly.
Well, guys, Michigan State quarterback Brian Hoyer played in his first ever bowl game last year right here in this stadium in the Champ Sports Bowl. He went against Matt Ryan, the future #1 draft pick, and he admitted to us, guys, I probably tried to outduel him and get that in my head a little bit. He didn't play well. 4 interceptions and a fumble. Today, he said he'll be different. It's just about him and his team, not Matthew Stafford.
Well, it's a great way to look at it. Hoyer back to throw here, throws underneath to Cunningham, again into Georgia territory at the 49-yard line. And Prince Miller out of Duncan, South Carolina, made the last tackle after a gain of 11 yards.
Again, a lot of single coverage by this Georgia defense. They've got a lot of faith in their corners. Hoyer sees the one-on-one matchup, and that's just pitch and catch. A little curl route against single coverage to the open side of the field, and Cunningham is able to get in front of Miller for the catch.
First down at the 49, the second time Michigan State has been in Georgia territory. Hoyer back to throw, blitz coming down the middle. Cunningham got one finger on it, and that was it. Ran the post, and he was open. Ellerby was coming on the blitz and got his hands up.
I like the mix of run-pass so far by Don Treadwell. Throwing on first down. They go for the big one. The safety comes up to stop the inside route. So he had single coverage again. The same combination. Cunningham working on Miller. That time not able to connect.
Prince Miller out there on his own. And you got a great look at it as the safety did come up to the middle of the field. And here comes Ringer to the outside, and he smacks into Jones. Got a good block from Gant.
The amazing thing to me about Javon Ringer this year is last year he kind of split time as a tailback. He wasn't the go-to #1 guy the whole season, and all of a sudden this year, not only is he the main guy, but they give it to him 370 times. And it's just a credit to his work ethic and his practice habits and taking care of his body to be able to stay uphold a season like that in his final year at Michigan State.
And he has scored 21 touchdowns as well as all the other yards that he's racked up. This pass thrown underneath about a yard shy of a first down before he was pushed back. So Michigan State's going to face another decision here on whether to go for it or punt it away.
I actually thought the spot was, I thought he was going to get the first down where the ball was caught. It was hit immediately, but they marked him short. I think Mark D'Antonio is saying this time we're not going to try to fake it. We're just going to try to run it right down your throat. No, they're not. Now Hoyer's coming to the sideline. They're going to punt the football.
It sure looked like they had made up their mind to go for it, though, didn't it? Play clock is running down, and they're not going to get this play off unless they use a timeout. And you'd hate to use a timeout in this situation. You just go ahead and let them back it up 5 yards. I mean, you're going to punt from the 40. Why not to 45?
Yeah, if you're Aaron Bates, the Michigan State punter, you're probably happier to have the extra 5 yards. Holly mentioned the wind. You know, the wind is more of a factor for the kickers in the kicking game than it is the passers or the passing game. For a lot of different reasons. Kicking the ball and also catching kicks. Difficult in the wind.
Floats it up into that wind, which kills it. And it'll go out of bounds near the 15-yard line. Very nice kick by Bates. He did his job. Even though it's only 28 yards, he put it where he wanted to. We've got a timeout on the field. 3-0 Georgia over Michigan State.
They come with a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, roadside assistance, and 1 year of the safety and security of OnStar. Buick, Pontiac, GMC. All made by GM. Surprised?
Just announced. Get 1.9% APR financing for 60 months, plus $3,000 bonus cash on an 08 Yukon. Or get $8,000 total cash back. Hurry. Offer ends January 5th.
Eventually, every man has a wake-up call. When one he did last night catches up with him the next morning. Alka-Seltzer wake-up call. Proven ingredients for speedy relief of hangover, headache, and fatigue. Wake up, man up.
If you look at the last 6 months, I think you'll agree that the production growth opportunity that we have for us would...
What is that?
That's the money you could be saving with Geico. Tell me who's watching.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Critics are calling The Spirit exhilarating. Samuel L. Jackson's marvelous.
Me and The Spirit, we like to party all night.
Scarlett Johansson is deliciously funny, and Eva Mendes is hot. The Spirit, rated PG-13, now playing in theaters.
The Capital One Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by Capital One. Triple rewards of your choice at CapitalOne.com. What's in your wallet? The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help. Chevy, an American revolution. And Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees.
And And both of the teams had the team photos taken here at the stadium yesterday. Been so many different activities that the players have enjoyed this trip immensely. Stafford to Marino in the flat. Nice cut. Knowshon Marino, a little shake and bake, picked up an additional 7 yards.
Yeah, that's where you see his ability in space to make people miss. And Georgia going no huddle again. Watch, you just get him out, the football out in space, just like a running play out on the perimeter. Makes the first guy miss and turns it into a first down.
The one thing this does is keep Green on the sideline. He's not as good a blocker as the other wide receivers, and this one is picked off. It's tipped. Davis Clark on the tip drill, 25 yards. Michael Moore had it go off his hands.
Matthew Stafford has a very strong arm. There is a flag down in the middle of the field. He put a little bit of juice on this one, but it's still a ball that should have been caught by Michael Moore. And the high deflection resulted in the interception.
We'll check the call with Carl Richens.
After the play ended, personal foul. Georgia, number 78. To the goal. First down.
That's on Josh Davis, the left tackle, after the interception, so it stands, and this will move them even closer.
It's a very short throw for Stafford. He has a great arm. It's a little bit on his back shoulder, but not enough that it shouldn't have been caught. And the ball popped up in the air, and Kendall Davis-Clark, who's getting the start today at free safety over Dan Fortner, comes away with a big interception. And Michigan State now with outstanding field position.
And Stafford made the saving tackle. Ringer behind Hawkins. Very fortunate that he lost his balance after that hit because no one wrapped him up. Had he been able to stay up, he could have scored on that play. As it is, he got down to the 3-yard line.
You mentioned the injury problem for Georgia as a whole, particularly their linebacker position. 6 different linebackers have been out this season, but one that was in on that play, Donnell Ellerbe, has been out for a long time, is back healthy. He was injured the Alabama game that we did. The very first series of the game he was injured, but he is back now and made a play on that goal line play right there.
Ringer again. Dancing into the hole, lost his footing and went down close to the line of scrimmage. And the rest of that defensive line, everybody has been injured at one point or another. It's hard to imagine that they actually won 9 games with all the people they lost. 19 players out for the season with injuries. It's just remarkable. They had 9 starters returning on that unit. It was going to be the strength of this football team outside of their offensive skill people. That line and the linebackers were sensational. They go to the shotgun. Blitz coming. Hoyer throws for the end zone too high.
Well, so far the problem for Michigan State has not been play selection or being able to move the football. It's been 3rd down.
Yeah.
Every time they've come up against a critical 3rd down, Georgia has won the down. And in this case, at least Michigan State doesn't have to make a tough decision. It's go for 3 points and tie the football game. But 3rd down has been a little bit of a problem so far for the Michigan State offense.
Pressure was coming on Hoyer. He intended to pass for Blair White, but Asher Allen was right there. Swenson has had a very good year. And this amounts to a chip shot field goal to tie it. And he knocks it through. Coming up, we'll play Did You Know and talk about how Walt Disney's vision became a reality here in Orlando, Florida.
It's time saving energy costs less. It's time guaranteed low prices got even lower. At the Home Depot, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items throughout the store, including energy-efficient ones like appliances and insulation. So come in now and find out how saving money today can save you even more later. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Dude, I just hooked up my new PS3. Yeah, I got Resistance 2 on the new MotorStorm.
Bring it!
See you in 10.
Hi. What's that?
It's our new movie downloading machine.
That's a PlayStation 3.
No, look. Hancock, The Dark Knight.
Or 50 First Dates.
Now?
Now you can download thousands of your favorite movies and TV shows straight to your PS3.
This crossover has more cargo space than the Honda Pilot or Toyota Highlander. And they can't beat its fuel economy with an EPA estimated 24 miles per gallon highway. The Chevy Traverse, America's best crossover. Made by GM. Surprised? Now during the Red Tag event, buy this Traverse 1LT for around $29 grand. Hurry, this surprising value won't last long. See your local Chevy dealer.
At the Walt Disney Resort here in Florida and the Disneyland Resort in Southern California, you can come celebrate a birthday, engagement, reunion, or any of life's special moments. And Disney Parks want to give you the most magical birthday present of all. Free admission on your birthday during 2009 to one of the theme parks of Walt Disney World or Disneyland Resort. Visit DisneyParks.com for all the details. I'm sending my birthday in because I have enjoyed going to both. Georgia has tied it. Pileski will kick off, and Marcus Brown is deep. He's averaged 23.5 yards a return this year. He'll have to come up on it as the wind kills it. Brown trying to get outside, no dice, buried back at the 20. Time now for Did You Know? Disneyland opened in 1955, but Walt Disney wanted the East Coast version to be larger and free from the distractions that Disneyland had. He had a vision to create Walt Disney World here in Florida back in the 60s, and it was the Magic Kingdom that was the first to open. That was 1971. Some 9,000 workers worked 2 years to create what is now the place where dreams come true. It's since grown to 4 theme parks and is the ultimate family destination to celebrate just about anything. Marino breaks another tackle. Still didn't think he was down. Got to the 29. No whistle. Now they'll blow it dead. Oh, Marino never heard a whistle. Thought he was on the body of a tackler, never went down. And smart, he just kept going until they make him stop.
Well, he has terrific balance, and that's, you know, he's always spinning and churning, and plus he also is a guy who hops up off the ground right away, too, no matter what happens.
Well, he had an elbow down, so he would be down.
The key with him is you've got to stay focused on his waist. You've got to lock in there and not go for all the hip and shoulder and head movement, because he will throw a lot at you.
Marino again. On that last play, Kendall Davis Clark, who threw a roadblock to take him down, has had a bad shoulder all year and apparently has hurt it again. The thing pops in and out on him, and it's extremely painful.
Dan Fortner was the starter. Clark was getting the start today because he's a little faster, but you mentioned the shoulder. Now for Fortner has been battling the flu. A couple of these Michigan State Spartans battling some flu problems this week.
So far, the only thing that has stopped the Georgia offense is that the interception that bounced off a receiver's hand. Marino looking for running room. Well, he's not afraid to take a blow either.
Yep.
Actually, these are 2 terrific running backs.
Actually mentioned that Fortner would be in at safety. It's not. It's Marcus Hyde, who's the sophomore who is in along with Otis Wiley. Take a look at Noshawn Marino. The thing that Marino has really gotten better at this year is his pass receiving skills. I mean, he caught 27 balls during the regular season. Coming into tonight, he's gotten better in terms of picking up blitzes and blocking. I mean, he is a complete all-around back, and right now considered by most scouts to be the top running back prospect coming out if he does come out.
And he has obviously spent a lot of time in the weight room. Green on the reverse. The freshman fumbled it, and Michigan State has it. Knocked away by Otis Wiley, the all-Big Ten safety. He stuck the freshman and knocked it loose.
Boy, that was picture-perfect form. I mean, if you want to teach a guy how to tackle, it's drop your hips and then explode through the ball carrier. Watch Otis Wiley come from the top of your screen. Here he comes and just unload on A.J. Green. He doesn't slow down. He drops his hips. He zeroes in, and he puts his helmet right on the football. Boom! Knocks it out. I mean, you just teach guys to tackle that way. He wrapped the arms up. He did everything right, and he created a turnover for his team.
You teach guys to tackle that way, but you don't see it very often. That was
wants to just come out and blow somebody up and get on the highlights. Right. He did it the way you're supposed to.
Second turnover for Georgia. Ringer goes back to work. They'll blow this play dead. Usually indicates movement up front before the snap.
Prior to the snap, delay of game offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's not a penalty that you can be happy about if you're Mark D'Antonio. You get the turnover, it's a change of possession. You should be able to get that first play called and executed without the clock running out on you.
They'll go with two tight ends, Gant and Selleck, on this formation, and Ringer alone in the eye. Pressure coming, and they got there. Georgia with excellent penetration up front will drive Michigan State back to the 42-yard line. Again, Dannell Ellerbe, the middle linebacker, found a seam.
Well, they're going to get pressure here, and that's going to force Hoyer to come up in the pocket. Then Ellerbe is going to be the guy who gets in here and gets the sack. But the outside pressure and Ringer not able to hold him out forced Hoyer up right into the arms of Ellerbe.
That was Akeem Dent, 51, who drove him inside where Ellerbe was waiting for him. Ringer, he's hit in the backfield. A loss of a couple of more. Michigan State going the wrong way, and Rennie Curran, who is a superstar in the making, was in on that stop.
He's 5'11", 220 pounds, but he has great closing speed. Once he sees it, I mean, he gets there in a hurry, and then he does not miss many tackles. On the year, 109 tackles. The first Georgia defender to record 100-plus tackles since their great safety, Thomas Davis, did it back in 2003.
It is now 3rd and 24. Something really upset the Georgia defense, didn't it?
Blitz again.
Pressure coming. They throw underneath. That will not pick up a lot as White gets about 7, maybe 8 yards. Rashad Jones tossed him out of bounds. That's a great stand by that Georgia defense.
And that's a good call right there by Willie Martinez because it's a zone blitz. And
personal foul. Roughing the passer.
Oh, boy.
Defense. Number 3. Helmet contact. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Brian Evans off the corner. What a huge mistake.
Huge mistake. It was a zone blitz, so you force the underneath throw to get rid of the ball by the quarterback, and then you just make a tackle short of the first down. They called helmet-to-helmet contact. He went high.
Now,
I thought it was his shoulder, not his helmet.
It was. Georgia has hurt itself with penalties all year. Even if it wasn't helmet-to-helmet, you can't allow that kind of thing to happen. Go up with your arms. They could have called him with contact to the helmet with his forearm. You can't put yourself in that position. Now the officials are talking among themselves.
Georgia on the season averaging 8.8 penalties a game, almost 74 yards of penalty yardage against them per contest. Costly one right there, 3rd and long.
Well, it keeps the drive alive instead of forcing a punt. And it puts Michigan State in great position at the Georgia 36-yard line.
And this might be a good time again for Don Treadwell to dial up a play-action pass and try to hit him for a big one.
Wouldn't it ever?
Frustration play for Georgia. First down play.
Mark Dell to the near side. And it's Martin on the end around, and Martin wrapped up by Allen. He wanted to throw that ball, and Asher Allen says,
Yeah, they were definitely going for a trick play, trying to take advantage of the big turnaround from the penalty, but Georgia did a nice job of staying at home. First in the secondary covering, but more importantly, Asher Allen with good leverage on the ball and does not allow the receiver to get outside of him. Keyshawn Martin was going to throw that football, but Asher Allen, a great pursuit to the football to stop the play.
We got to take you back after this play if we can and show you Brian Hoyer's block on that play, because that was a quarterback block. Ringer. Nowhere to go.
Can't go east and west against this defense. I mean, Javon Ringer is a north-south runner, and you've got to be able to, you can't go east and west against this defense. Extremely fast.
A Georgia defense starting to dominate now. Ringer, 9 carries, only 12 yards. End of the quarter. This presentation of the Capital One Bowl will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Received a 2009 Best Resale Value Award from Kelley Blue Books, KBB.com, and it was awarded a top safety pick by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. The Cadillac CTS, made by GM. Surprised? Here's something else amazing. At the first ever Cadillac Red Tag event, the price on the tag is the price you pay. Like a 2009 CTS for under $36,500. That's a total value of over $4,400. Visit your local Cadillac dealer.
Birds do it, bees do it, goldfish in the privacy of bowls do it. Let's do it, let's fall in love. Let's fall in love. Let's fall in love.
ABC's Desperate Housewives. All new Sunday, 9/8 Central on ABC.
Introducing the Pan-Normous from Pizza Hut.
This is so huge.
So good.
Here.
Hey, buddy. This thing's a monster. We are never going to finish this.
The new Pan-Normous. A pizza so big it never ends. So the party never ends. Get a one-topping Pan-Normous pizza for just $12.99. And start the party this holiday season with Pizza Hut gift cards. Only from America's favorite pizza.
At BF Goodrich, we test all our tires in real-life driving situations. This is the getting home from the fishing trip before wife knows you're gone test.
Marty's Tire Store.
It was a success.
Plaza East Charleston, 1st Avenue, Nitro.
BF Goodrich Tires. Take control.
Senator.
A word, please.
Senator, how can you claim to be fiscally responsible when you're spending $4 every morning at that high-priced coffee shop?
Senator, you know Speedway has coffee house quality for just 99 cents.
Well, I stop into Speedway every morning anyway. I guess that's an economic stimulus package we can all live with.
Sacrifice the price, not the quality. Get Good as Coffee House coffee and cappuccino, including 100% Colombian for just 99 cents.
The convenience stores of Speedway.
Covering your news, watch Rick Lord only on WCHS TV.
Welcome back to the Capital One Bowl. Coming up Tuesday, January 6th to ABC, by land, by air, by sea. These are the real stories of the heroes who protect us all. The season premiere of Homeland Security this Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on ABC. And there's got to be a Bulldog involved in there somewhere.
Well, for Michigan State, they've got to figure out a way to make something happen in the Georgia end of the field. This is their 13th play now in Georgia territory, only 9 yards to show for it.
3rd and 20, throwing a run incomplete, in and out of the hands of Keyshawn Martin. Let's take you back to a play I was talking about when Brian Hoyer starts to. This is a quarterback block, Tom.
No, quarterbacks can block. So, Brian's a tough kid. He's from Ohio, but I'm not going to let him in the club on that. No, you can't do that. You've got to at least make contact. I know he can do better than that.
He stopped a whole big chunk of dirt, though. Bates will kick to Gray. Well, he made the effort. He thought the guy was going to run into it. Fair catch made just outside the 10. 35-yard kick, no return. Second quarter in beautiful Orlando. We're tied at 3.
What are you doing?
Filling my own Capital One credit card. With these new triple rewards, I can decide which category to choose.
How about groceries?
Perfect. I'll upload a photo. There we go. I was full for 3 days.
Cheeseburger! Cheeseburger!
Introducing triple rewards of your choice. Log on to CardLab at CapitalOne.com to personalize your card.
What's in your wallet?
Beep. Hey, happy holidays. Snowball's phone. Snowball doesn't have AT&T, so no bars out here at the Winter Cottage. So we didn't get your call warning us about the heat wave that's coming right about now. You know, the one that's going to turn me into a big puddle of buttons and carrot sticks. Well, thanks for stacking me high and tight, kids. See you next year. Okay, kids?
Switch to the network with the best coverage, AT&T. More bars in more places. Now get 50% off all LG phones.
You don't believe in miracles? You pick up a check one day, then I'll believe in miracles.
Robert De Niro. Al Pacino.
Nothing wrong with a little shooting as long as the right people get shot.
That is poetry. Righteous Kill on DVD and Blu-ray High Def Tuesday.
When a major hospital wanted to add on to their benefits package at no direct cost to the company, their very first word was... Find out more at forbusiness.com.
ABC Sunday. The new year brings a new makeover.
We're giving you a new start.
When these walls come down, hope rises up. ABC's Extreme Makeover Home Edition, Sunday, 8, 7 Central on ABC.
Welcome back to ESPN and ABC special presentation of the Capital One Bowl. Let's go to the sideline. Holly Rowe with a special guest. Holly.
Well, I am with Ryan Schneider, president of Capital One Bowl Credit Cards. And Ryan, this is the 9th season that your company has hosted this game. Why is college football such a great investment for you?
We've had such a great time focused on college football, being associated with a great winning tradition and the passion of it. With this bowl game, with the Capital One Bowl Week, even with our fun Mascots Challenge. And this bowl's been great. There's Florida Citrus Sports Foundation does great things in the community, and that's the big focus for us. So what they do for underprivileged children is what we want to focus on too. It's been great.
Also, you also host Capital One Bowl Week, and I think that's just become synonymous with bowl season. How has that branding worked for you?
We love it. You know, it's got great teams, great locations, great games. There's nothing not to love about Bowl Week, and we've had a fantastic time with it.
All right, well, thank you. As a college football fan, thank you so much for making these great games happen.
Thank you, Holly, and thank you, Brian. Gain of about a yard from Marino on the last play, and Stafford will go to the shotgun with 3 wide receivers. Massaquoi to the near side, who has yet to catch a ball. They'll go out on the flanker screen to Michael Moore, and Moore should have enough for a first down before he's forced out of bounds.
You talk about Knowshon Moreno, and one of the things all the coaches say about him is he loves to play the game. He just absolutely loves to play. Now, that doesn't just show up when he runs the football or when he catches it on a screen, but in that play, he went out in motion, and he was the lead blocker on that wide receiver screen and did an outstanding job just getting in the way of the guy and opening things up for Michael Moore.
When he does go to the NFL, whether it's this coming year or the one after, he'll be a great addition. The kid has a terrific personality. He's a lot of fun to be around. Stafford steps up under pressure and will slide down at the 26-yard line. Trevor Anderson from his left defensive end spot circle around. He leads this team in sacks, had 8 on the regular season. And our BioBlast on Knowshon Moreno, only a sophomore, but he is draft eligible out of Belford, New Jersey. Named after his parents. And, of course, the all-time leading rusher in the history of New Jersey football. One thing they're trying to do at Rutgers is to keep those kids at home. Moreno up to the 29.
Mark Richt was joking at the luncheon the other day. How smart am I that we redshirted Knowshon Moreno his first year? That's why he is draft eligible. Just listed as a sophomore, but has been on campus 3 years down in Athens. And just a really fun kid, too. I mean, a fun guy to watch play. He enjoys the game. He plays with passion and energy. And the rest of his team really feeds off of that as well.
Georgia facing 3rd and 5 from its own 28-yard line. Green to the near side. Massaquoi to the far side. The 2 most productive receivers they've had. Instead, they throw for Trip Chandler, the tight end. Stafford sidearmed that one and threw it away. And Eric Gordon putting the pressure on him, and they'll have to kick it out of there.
And for some reason, Matthew Stafford chose not to flip the ball out to Moreno because he had Moreno out there open. There was pressure, but watch, Moreno is going to just slip out here, and nobody will cover him. The pressure comes, they pick up the tight end, but nobody gets Moreno. Chances are you get it to him, he might make a guy miss and get you a first down.
Wiley is deep for the punt of Brian Mims, who's had a really good year, averaging 43.5 yards a kick. And Georgia will be able to down this one at the 35-yard line. Coming up, we'll talk about the subject that's on the minds of a lot of Georgia fans. Will Moreno and Stafford declare for this year's NFL draft?
The all-new Nissan Z. It's here.
Happy New Year! Welcome to Progressive.com.
This place is hopping.
It's resolution season.
Well, my resolution? Save money.
Last year, millions of people visited Progressive.com, and those who switched saved an average of over $350.
No wonder it's like a party in here.
Yeah. I wrote that.
Starting the new year with savings. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
You want to dance? What you got?
Want to get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, you can fly to destinations nationwide for just $49 to $99. Purchased by January 19th. Low fares, no hidden fees.
Premiering Tuesday on ABC, a new series about the heroes who keep us safe at home.
They have nothing to be afraid of anymore. We did our job today.
ABC's Homeland Security USA premieres Tuesday, 8/7 Central on ABC.
The Capital One Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by Capital One. Triple rewards of your choice at CapitalOne.com. What's in your wallet? Aflac. Ask about it at work. And Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move.
Aerial coverage of today's game provided to you by DirecTV. Beautiful day to fly over Orlando. A new quarterback is in for Michigan State, Kirk Cousins, the redshirt freshman out of Holland, Michigan. And a flag is down as Ringer picks up a couple. And it looks like that might be a hold on one of the wide receivers, and it will cost him 10 yards.
Now, Cousins is in the game not because of an injury to Hoyer, but they wanted to get him in the football game. Young man out of Holland, Michigan, Holland Christian High School. Hoyer did have a little bit of a tweak on his knee, and maybe Holly Rowe has more on that.
Well, guys, Kirk Cousins was scripted to be in, but they have been examining the left knee of Brian Hoyer. It looks like it is bothering him. They've slipped his shoe off, put one of those sleeves, those tight compression sleeves on his left knee, but he's moving around down here on the sideline. Grady's got the headset on, and doesn't appear like this was going to affect his ability to get back in the game.
Okay, Holly, thank you. Cousins has played some this year. 28 out of 38 throwing. This one goes out to Ringer in the flat. Akeem Dent trying to corral him very close to a first down at the 35-yard, or check it after the holding penalty. He is only back to the original line of scrimmage.
But a nice safe play for the new quarterback Cousins. Georgia bringing some pressure, man-to-man coverage, get it out here, let him turn the corner. Does a nice job of beating Akeem Dent to the sideline, and at least now you get back into a normal kind of situation at 2nd down and 10.
There are the numbers on Cousins. Pretty good completion percentage. Ringer is out as a wide receiver in the slot to the near side. Cousins looking underneath, goes to Dell. Dell will pick up about 4 yards. It'll still be a long yardage situation. Asher Allen and Brian Evans were both there on the stop.
And this is where Michigan State has not done well so far today. Another 3rd down situation. They're 0 for 5 so far in the game on 3rd down. And that has really hurt them because they've had 2 turnovers in Georgia territory. They've only got 3 points to show for it. They've run a lot of plays in Georgia territory, but they've not converted a 3rd down yet. And a big one here for the backup quarterback, Kirk Cousins.
He'll go to the shotgun. He's got Ringer beside him. Ringer blocks for him, and they throw for Cunningham. Nice catch. Caught it with his hands, made sure he had enough yardage, and got the first down.
And a nice spot for the football by Kirk Cousins away from the defense. When you have man-to-man coverage with no safety help, the corner is going to be inside. That means to throw away from him, you throw it to the outside, and that's a perfect placement of the football by Kirk Cousins. Defenders inside, throw the ball slightly outside, and a first down for Michigan State.
And you could tell he wasn't anxious either because he had good mechanics on that. Yeah. Stepped into the throw, made a good one. Georgia has been able to move the ball. They have hurt themselves once they have gotten, or Michigan State's been able to move it, excuse me, once they've gotten into Georgia territory, it's when they've made mistakes, and now a flag comes down late. Ellerbe looks very upset.
After play it ended, personal foul. Georgia number 51. Personal foul. Michigan State 84. Both penalties canceled. Result of play, 2nd down.
Deion Curry for Michigan State is 84. Akeem Dent for Georgia 51. Curry had his helmet taken off on that play.
Well, here we are for Michigan State again inside Georgia territory. Again, this will be their 14th play of the first half in Georgia territory. And only 3 points on the scoreboard. So Kirk Cousins, they overcame the penalty, and they've got it back in a nice situation right now offensively.
2nd and short. It's Ringer time. And he's got the first down to the 41-yard line.
Well, did a nice job of making the first guy miss. Brian Evans was coming on a blitz from his safety position, and Ringer was able to see him and just kind of shimmy past him. He didn't really have to do much to juke him, just kind of sidestepped him a little bit, got into the hole, and picked up the first down going north and south.
Well, Evans was going full speed.
Yeah.
He was either going to run right into it or he was going to miss it. What's the old saying? If you're going to miss going as fast as you can. He did. Pump fake and a sack. You can't hold it that long. Kirk Cousins, the redshirt freshman, will learn that. DeMarcus Dobbs, after the pump fake, just ate him up. It's a loss of 10. Houston was also in there.
Well, the other thing that Kirk Cousins got to learn to do a little bit better is step up in the pocket. Now, right now, you see the pressure's coming outside. You've got room to move up in here and operate a little bit. And as a quarterback, you don't just keep drifting back. You must step up and find your way in the pocket to open up a passing lane for yourself.
2nd and 20, ball to Spartan 49-yard line.
2nd and 20, Michigan State forced back on its side of the 50-yard line. time they want a screen. Again, a pump fake. That would have been picked off by Allen. He had that thing read perfectly. Geno Atkins was applying the pressure on the quarterback Cousins, but Asher Allen was just out there salivating, hoping that pass would be thrown.
Yeah, Georgia anticipating screen. They read it quickly. They didn't go for it. They got pressure on the quarterback, and they covered the screen. Javon Ringer actually fell down, so nowhere to go with the football for Kirk Cousins. And here we are again, another 3rd and long for Michigan State.
See if they go with something conservative. Ringer is in the backfield. They don't go with the screen. Instead, they'll throw it downfield. Adele, what a catch. Now, the crowd wants a penalty, but I think you can understand what Evans was thinking. He didn't hear a whistle, wasn't sure that anybody was down. He wanted to make sure there was a tackle.
And the official on the side did not blow the whistle because he was sitting there looking and waiting, and then he marked him down when the second guy came in to make the hit.
I think Allen is under him, so he wasn't down.
Yep. He lands on Allen. He had his right hand on the ground, and he was knocked down.
Play.
Yep.
Smart play by Brian Evans, and that's why the official did not throw the flag, because he wasn't down. And now Swenson will come on to try a 53-yard field goal on 4th and 4. Well short and left.
See, I don't know. They maybe should have used a timeout there because they were running off so quickly trying to get lined up for a long field goal. Give your kicker a chance in that situation. There was some delay at the end of the pass play on 3rd down. They had to run out and kick it quick, and Swenson never really gave that one a chance.
Good field position coming for Georgia.
You know, I gotta tell you, since I've been hurt and missing work, you've been a big help to this family. No, really. The cash we get from Aflac helps us maintain the house, put food on the table. And my Jenny continues with her piano lessons. Yep, this family's doing just fine. And it's all thanks to
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
You kind of one-up me again, huh?
It's totally fair. In terms.
Yeah, but adding bacon and cheddar to a Gordita Crunch? Sorry.
Crunchy, chewy, cheesy is now unstoppable with bacon and cheddar. Taco Bell's new Bacon Cheddar Gordita Crunch. Think outside the bun.
We gotta get out of here. Don't rush me. I'm at Capital One Card Lab. With these new triple rewards, it's tough to decide which category to choose. Maybe travel? What do you think? Home improvement?
How about gas and groceries? Oh, restaurants! I know a great chop house.
Introducing triple rewards of your choice. Log on to Card Lab at CapitalOne.com to personalize your card.
T-Bone is to die for.
What's in your wallet?
The all-new Nissan Z. It's here.
Now let's take a look at today's trivia question. How many times has a conference had its team win a national championship in 3 consecutive years? Chew on that one for a little bit. Georgia will take over at its own 36 after the long missed field goal attempt. Marino didn't have a chance. He was swallowed up by Greg Jones, the sophomore out of Cincinnati. And this kid is a terrific ball player.
Yeah, another one of those guys that may be a little undersized for a middle linebacker, 6'1", 222 pounds, but he is so quick and explosive at the point of attack. When he sees it and reads it, he gets there in a hurry, and he usually gets there in a bad mood when he does show up. And he does not miss tackles. Cincinnati Moeller, an outstanding high school football program, and Greg Jones has just been a big-time player as a Spartan.
Stafford, pressure coming on a rush situation intended for Massaquoi. Wilson was applying the pressure.
Our own Todd McShay and Scouts Inc. in their top 100 NFL prospects list. Several of the guys in this game, of course, Matthew Stafford, a junior quarterback, listed as the 7th top prospect, the 2nd quarterback listed behind Sam Bradford, who is also 3rd year at Oklahoma. Knowshon Moreno listed as the #1 running back ahead of Javon Ringer, who is also in this ball game today.
3rd and long for Stafford. Blitz coming. He wants the screen. Throws it incomplete. Missed Marino. And Michigan State showing up strong on defense on that possession. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, we spoke to Matthew Stafford and Knowshon Moreno about their plans on whether to stay to school or go to the pros. And they both said they haven't made a decision yet, that they'll sit down with their families. But Michael Stafford has kind of an ingrown advantage. He grew up next door to a scout for the Cowboys, a guy named Michael Hagan, who's been a scout for lots of NFL teams. He said he's like my second dad, and he's getting a lot of good information from him. And he actually is sharing some of that with Knowshon, like what people are saying about Knowshon.
Oh, my gosh, he dropped the ball.
And Georgia manages to turn it over again.
He dropped the ball.
He certainly did.
Dropped the football. I don't know if the wind affected him or if the rush affected him. It was not an all-out punt block, but he dropped the football but didn't put his foot on it. The snap is good, and he just made a poor drop to his foot. I've never seen that.
And then he actually had a chance. To kick it again once he got past that defender and kept going. And Michigan State, again, with another huge break courtesy of Georgia. Ringer will go straight up the middle. And you have to wonder, at what point does the defense say, hey, guys, we can't keep doing this?
And Brian Hoyer is back in the game for Michigan State at quarterback as well.
Let's go to Holly.
Hey, guys, I actually spoke to Brian Mims, the punter for Georgia, before the game about the wind and how it would affect his drop because the ball is kind of wobbling there. And he said he'd actually have to drop the ball a lot lower. And it looks like that was what he was trying to do there. He was trying to drop the ball low, but then he couldn't get it back.
Yeah, well, not that low, Holly. He dropped that ankle high. I mean, goodness.
Could have drop kicked it. Holy cow, what a strange game. This pass floated, intercepted, but out of bounds. Asher Allen was right there. Rennie Curran was putting on the pressure.
You know, I want to go back to the thing that Holly just talked about, because the reason I said that the wind affects kickers more than passers as we look at this last play that was out of bounds is because kickers, and you know what I feel about kickers, but kickers are kickers are thinking about too many other things mentally, you know, and they've got all that time to themselves, and so they get kind of psyched out. And that whole thing about dropping the football and how high should I drop, how low, quarterbacks don't worry about that as much as kickers do. And so on a windy day, kickers get affected a lot more than quarterbacks.
And now Hoyer's going to have to use a timeout for Michigan State on 3rd and 6, and talking to Blair White, one of his wide receivers, about where he ought to be. It's been a strange one so far, but a good one.
Small. Big. Minimum. Maximum. A lot.
For a little. Nissan Versa. 34 mpg and the largest passenger interior volume in its class for under $10,000.
You gotta one-up me again, huh? What? Well, for one, you can't have a regular gordita crunch. You had to add bacon and cheddar.
No, bacon and cheddar makes it better.
Okay, and two, this is a work league.
So
Daryl Dawkins and Bloody Divot work in your office?
They're interns. Crunchy, chewy, cheesy is now unstoppable with bacon and cheddar. Taco Bell's new Bacon Cheddar Gordita Crunch. Think outside the bun.
Capital One presents Flashback Images 2008.
Henny looks for the end zone, throws Arrington, touchdown!
It was the Wolverines who scored 10 points in the final 5 minutes for a victory that sent Lloyd Carrado winner in his last game as Michigan head coach.
What a sweet victory this is.
For more great images, tune into the Capital One Bowl on January 1st on ABC.
John Saunders in Pasadena with a Southwest Airlines update. Iowa putting a hurting on South Carolina. Sean Green having his way. This 11 yards for a touchdown, his third of the game. That made it 31-0. South Carolina added a touchdown, 31-7. Nebraska and Clemson, meanwhile, in the Gator Bowl are scoreless. Mike.
John, there might be a little visor throwing in that one, huh? Wow. Michigan State has spent the entire day in Georgia territory. They have 8 yards and 3 points to show for it.
They were offside. Georgia was offside.
Sure were.
Michigan State won't get a first down with this because it was 3rd and 6, I believe, but they will get another shot at 3rd down.
Jarius Wynn got the early start.
Offside. Defense number 99. Lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
Boy,
right now, win. Georgia is just pulling a Plexico. They just keep shooting themselves. A little windy down there, wasn't
that
it?
was it. Well, I actually noticed it when we were waiting for the ball to be snapped. You could see the referee's jersey blowing with the wind, and that time when his mic was on, you hear the wind whistling through the mic. So it is definitely windy down on the field.
First down. Ringer kept looking and looking and looking until he could find a place to get the yard.
He just kind of kept his hand on the hip of one of his lead blockers and just kind of waited. Like you said, he's just waiting, he's waiting, he's waiting. He's sitting in there behind Roland Martin, the big number 73, until he saw a crease and was able to pop it outside for the first down. That's good patience.
Yeah, it sure
running
was.
the football by Javon Ringer.
Can't get it here, can't get it here. Okay, I'll just keep working at it. And that's what he is. He's a grinder. Pressure coming, and just going to throw this one away. Hoyer with a short setup, couldn't find anybody, and then had to take off.
You know, we were talking about the draft prospects in this game, and Javon Ringer. There's no Sean Marino, both running backs. According to the scouts now, Marino the number 1 rated running back, and Javon Ringer is the number 6 rated running back. And that's one of those situations where you got a guy who's been incredibly productive as a college player, but maybe doesn't project as highly at the next level. Not saying that he can't do it or won't make it or won't be a good pro, but right now there are 5 other guys rated ahead of him.
Give it on the end around, only a couple of yards from Martin. I think he's rated that low. I think that's a speed factor right there, because Marino obviously has a little more game-breaking ability. C.J. Bird with the tackle as they tried to cross him up again. They've tried a flanker pass that didn't work, and Keyshawn Martin running the flanker around, and that didn't work. Third down, as you said earlier, Todd. This has been tough for Michigan State. 3rd and 7 here. Hoyer rolls to his left and throws complete. That should be enough for a first down. Mark Dell was open, and where they're going to spot it, it is a first down. Prince Miller made the stop.
Yeah, I want to show you something on this play. Nice job by Brian Hoyer going with the quick snap, because watch as this play starts to unfold. Asher Allen right here is trying to get a timeout. He doesn't like how the defense is aligned. He's trying to get them switched around, moved around. They don't get a timeout. They don't get the right call of their coverage, and Brian Hoyer makes them pay by getting the quick snap and getting the throw for the first down.
You have to wonder how somebody did not see Asher Allen. He ran completely across the formation.
I'll tell you in a minute what that was. When I first saw it, I thought he was trying to call timeout. He was actually giving a signal of what kind of coverage, a hand signal for the coverage of what they were trying to run, but they did not get it communicated to everybody on the pass play, and Michigan State came up with the first down. I don't think he was trying to get a timeout.
I really like the way Asher Allen plays. He's an outstanding talent. He was on the watch list for the Lott Trophy this year for the best defensive back. Only a junior. And he's out of Tucker, Georgia. Play action fake. Hoyer with room if he wants to run. Taken down at the 11. Good pursuit by Bird.
That's what, when we talked to John Treadwell, one of the things he said about Georgia, he says this team, this defense has great rallying speed. They rally to the football, play in and play on. That was it right there. It looked like Hoyer had a lot of green grass in front of him. He tried to turn the corner, and C.J. Bird just walked him down for a very minimal gain on that second down play.
Well, his longest run this year is 19 yards, so he's not exactly going to run away from anybody, but you're right. The green grass disappears in a hurry. Another big third down. Hoyer to throw, and down he goes. Wynn came through and made the stop, got the sack.
Yeah,
the
really,
fourth sack for that Georgia defense.
Yeah, here he is right here. He's going to come on an inside move. There's going to be a lineman, and Javon Ringer is going to try to take a little bit out of him, and he beats both guys. Nobody blocks him up front. Ringer doesn't get a whole lot of him. And a mix-up that time between the tight end, Charlie Gant, and Jesse Miller, the right tackle, on who was supposed to block Jarius Wynn.
Swenson will give Michigan State the lead. So they have spent the whole first half in Georgia territory, and now they have the lead.
1931 was not exactly a great year to start a business, but that's when Allstate opened its doors. And through the 12 recessions since, they've noticed that after the fears subside, a funny thing happens. People start enjoying the small things in life. It's back to basics, and the basics are good. Protect them. Put them in good hands.
The all-new Nissan Z. It's here.
On DVD January 6th, the only way out is to break all the rules. Nicolas Cage.
My name's Joe. This is what I do.
Bangkok Dangerous on Blu-ray and DVD January 6th.
MGD 64.
I'll have 64 calories of Bud Light.
$12 ounces, 64 calories. MGD 64. As light as it gets.
Man up! Tuesday, ABC has a show that lets men be men.
I don't like beer. I prefer Appletinis. They make me feel fancy.
ABC Scrubs. All new episodes premiering Tuesday, 9/8 Central on ABC.
John Saunders, Craig James, and Doug Flutie here in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl as we get ready for Penn State and USC.
Well, I keep hearing a lot about USC not having an explosive offense. Every time I come to a Rose Bowl, though, Flutie Flakes, don't they score a lot of points?
They play their best football out here. It's ridiculous. The best game of the year every year, no doubt about it.
All coming up on the Southwest Airlines halftime report. Now, Mike, back to you.
Welcome back to the Capital One Bowl in Orlando, Florida. Michigan State in a battle of field goals leads at 6-3. Marty's happy. Pileski to kick. Well, Marcus Brown is deep. From the 5. Brown with the seam, cuts it to the outside. Marcus Brown to the 44. And now the answer to tonight's
Aflac
trivia question. The question was, how many times has a conference had its team win a national championship 3 straight years? Well, it's only happened twice. The Big Ten did it in 40 with Minnesota, 41 with Minnesota, 42 for Ohio State. And the SEC, 78, 79, and 80. And now there is a chance to do it again because the University of Florida, obviously playing for the title this year when they face Oklahoma. 2:05 to go for Matthew Stafford and the Georgia offense. They have stopped themselves as much as Michigan State has stopped them. Marino across the 45 to the 46. Kershaw, the big left tackle, made the stop.
Well, Georgia with a chance here. 1:50, the clock running. All 3 of their timeouts left. I'm a little surprised that they're not going with a little more urgency here with a chance in good field position.
How about any?
To take it, or any urgency. They took a lot of time on that first down play and changed it at the line of scrimmage for a 2-yard gain.
They have burnt 35 seconds since they got the ball. Marino reversing his field, cuts again. Marino gets it out to midfield. That took a lot of time. Now we're down to 1:16. If Georgia is going to do anything, really, they still have plenty of time on the clock.
But they're taking their time right now. And I don't know if this is out of respect for the Michigan State defense. I don't know what it is. I mean, because now they're under a minute with all 3 timeouts, and they still need to get a first down. That's the most important thing, is they need to get a first down here.
Certainly an odd sequence, if nothing else, and Stafford in no hurry at all. Michigan State could have been offside. Stafford throws underneath. Marino has the first down, and now Mark Richt sprints on the field to call a timeout with 32 seconds to go. And I'm sort of bewildered about that whole sequence.
Yeah, I am too.
That's 1:33 off the clock to run 3 plays. And now you're going to use your timeouts and try to do something after you've gained like 13 yards in 1:33.
Georgia.
Timeout. Back in a second.
Georgia.
Now, which photo should I pick for my Capital One card? Which Jimmy should we choose? How about this one?
No, delete. Trust 2 Jimmys left.
And delete. Spaghetti Jimmy wins. How cute is that? Well, I love it.
Personalize your card at Capital One Card Lab, where you make your card yours. Just log on at CapitalOne.com.
Nobody gives you more power than Interstate Batteries. And we have a national warranty program with over 200,000 dealers to back it up. How do we make them so powerful? Now that's a secret. Get the battery with more power in it and the most power behind it. Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
But I was greener than the hill, where flowers grow and the sun shines still. Now I'm darker than the deepest sea. Just hand me down, give me a place to be.
Every player can smell the roses. Every team wants to make history. Every eye is on Pasadena. It's the granddaddy of them all. The 8th-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions against number 5 USC in the 2009 Rose Bowl game. Coverage begins following our game today at 4:30 Eastern on ABC and ABC HD.
Well, now they're in the shotgun. A little bit more of a 2-minute looking offense after those first 3 plays.
Stafford on the half roll will throw deep and throw out of bounds. Completed it, but too strong for Kenneth Harris. Georgia has 2 timeouts remaining. And now you've really got to hurry up as much time as they wasted in that first 3-play sequence.
Well, the only thing that surprises me with that, what Georgia did, was you've got a quarterback who is one of the best in the country, and he's a 3-year starter. At the end of the half, give him a chance to put your team in front and really deflate Michigan State here in the end of the first half.
And you've got a couple of big-time receivers. This one is intended for more and overthrown, and Stafford certainly has not been at his best today.
Well, this was a kind of a setup play to go after an aggressive safety. They rolled the quarterback one way, and the route came back towards the middle. They had Michigan State beat, but Matthews overthrew the play. In the last game of the regular season, Penn State hurt Michigan State with double move routes. This is a double move route by the receiver, and it was just a slight overthrow by Matthew Stafford. Michael Moore was open. Stafford couldn't get it to him.
Massaquoi and Green have yet to catch a pass. Stafford with plenty of time. And throws this one into triple coverage. Green was deep. Stafford is only 3 for 11 right now. And that was almost like a give-up throw.
Yeah, well, it was like a give-up series.
Yeah.
I mean, not just that throw. I mean, you know, I really thought Michigan State, and I still think this is going to be a problem before the day's over, that they had that many plays in the first half in Georgia territory and only had 6 points. Georgia had a chance to really hurt them there at the end of the first half, and they just wasted an opportunity, I thought.
Here's Mims to punt, hopefully. Nobody deep. And this one he slams into the end zone. Tuesday, January 6th, TV's funniest doctors have found a new place to operate. That place is ABC. Courtney Cox guest stars in the season premiere of Scrubs, Tuesday at 9, 8 Central on ABC. An odd sequence of plays at best, starting with about 2:03 to go in the first half for Georgia. And now Michigan State, they're going to be very content to take a 6-3 lead to the locker room. And Holly Rowe with Coach Rick. Holly?
Coach, you started up the game in that hurry-up offense, but you didn't use it on that last series. What was your thinking?
The thinking was the defense was playing too much football, and I want to make sure we could at least get 1 first down before we put them back on the field again.
There have been some miscues. That's what's kept the defense on the field. What do you see with your offense right now?
Right now they're struggling, but if you like defense, they're doing a great job. I'm proud of them.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Holly. Our halftime score, Michigan State leading Georgia 6-3. Now we go to John Saunders, Craig James, and Doug Flutie in Pasadena for the Southwest Airlines halftime report.
Mike, thanks a lot. You heard Coach Mark Richt talk about it. If you like defense, you're watching a great game. But really, I'm looking at a lot of missed opportunities on both sides.
You know, Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator at Georgia, is a guy that has a great relationship with Matthew Stafford. I really believe they need to get together, talk about it at halftime. They need to open up and allow Matthew Stafford to use his legs and get athletic. He's thinking too much, man. He's throwing the ball down the field like he's throwing it to grass blades. Matthew Stafford's a lot better quarterback than what we've seen in this first half. They've got to find out a way to let him cut it loose.
I agree with you 100% there. And the amazing thing is at the end of the half there, they're playing cautious, protecting the football, rolling the pocket to get away from a pass rush, doesn't want the defense back out on the field. Michigan State's had the upper hand in this game. They got the interception down to the 7-yard line, but only came away with a field goal and didn't take advantage of the botched punt either.
As a result, Michigan State's lead is just 6-3, all field goals all around. Stick around. Coming up on the Southwest Airlines halftime report, we'll have today's other bowl actions highlights, plus we'll look ahead to the granddaddy in them all, the Rose Bowl, coming up on the Southwest Airlines halftime report.
Dude, I just hooked up my new PS3. Yeah, I got Resistance 2.
Scientists and ballerinas without ever having to leave their hometown. Orlando, Florida, putting imagination to work.
And welcome to the Southwest Airlines halftime report, where right now it's a 6-3 lead, Michigan State over Georgia, as we prepare for the Rose Bowl here in Pasadena. USC and Penn State, each team with just one loss, and it should be a very interesting matchup. John Saunders, Craig James, and Doug Flutie. Both these teams, we know what their offenses are capable of doing. But a lot of people, because they score so many points, overlook the defenses of these teams. And both teams have terrific defenses. If you look how they line up this year, they are pretty evenly matched, Craig.
I think the scoring defense is the number one thing that really matters most for a defense. But I think what we're going to find today in this football game, Penn State's defense is going to have their coming out party. Penn State has a defense that's a no-name defense. And visiting with their defensive coordinator, Tom Bradley, Tom's always mindful of the fact that this is not a bunch of star individual players out there. They're a great unit. Number 91, Jared Odrick, is a guy that I want you to watch. I voted for the guy for All-American this year because I think he's an outstanding player. He didn't make a lot of All-American teams, but he's a guy that plays flat back. He's always in the other team's backfield. We know about USC's defensive line, but Jared Odrick and his company over in Penn State's defensive line with Tom Bradley, they will come up and play today.
You know, when you talk about Penn State being almost an equal with USC defensively, you know, USC's got all these All-Americans and speed and all that. Penn State does it with scheme and a solid defensive scheme and being aggressive. But the bottom line becomes Penn State now can play field position football, protect the football, play it the way they played the Ohio State game. Wait for the opportunity to occur. Keep yourself in this game and have an opportunity in the fourth quarter. But don't be afraid to punt. You know, you got a strong defense.
But they got to be careful, though, because I think Mark Sanchez and that USC offense, they have the ability on this field,
on this field, on this day.
They always seem to get it going.
The players will make the plays, but it seems like every year this time we're talking about the coaches, whether it's Joe Paterno, whether or not he's getting too old and he's going to retire, just signed a new 3-year contract, by the way, or Pete Carroll, is he going to return to the pros? But these coaching places are a perfect fit for each of these gentlemen.
I have no idea when I'm going to quit. I just don't see any reason to, because I feel good. I can keep most of my coaches, and you know, we can have the same kind of enthusiasm, be able to recruit the same kind of kids that we've had. I'm enjoying it. I don't know what else I'd do.
99% of anything that's ever been said is just media talk, and I've talked to a couple teams in 8 years, and every time I've ever told you guys what I was going to do, I've done it. You know, I love being here, and I'm thrilled and honored to be part of this program, and there's nothing else that I think about. I mean, that's it. I'm immersed in this program and everything this program's about.
First of all, let's talk Joe Paterno. Now, when I'm 82 years old, I do not foresee myself signing a 3-year contract. I certainly know ESPN does not foresee me signing a 3-year contract at 82.
No, you know what he's done this season I thought was outstanding. Paterno's had a lot of great seasons as a head football coach. I liked him so much this year. With my EP ballot, I voted him Coach of the Year. I know Nick Saban and Mike Leach and Paul Johnson, there were a lot of great candidates out there, but the way that he had to make the adjustment, physically, personally, he went to the booth. But he still won. He went to the practice fields, and the players said that every practice he's out there chewing them, working them, demanding. I thought Joe Paterno did a great job this year.
Oh, especially this year. But, I mean, in the last couple of years, he's gone through the broken leg, hip replacement surgery, and he's still going 100 miles an hour. I was at the College Football Foundation Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, and Joe and I went in the same class, and because he was there, it made it special. He just had a presence about him. He had a fire in him. He got up and spoke. He still has that drive and that presence, and you're in awe being around the guy, and he has that presence with these kids, and he's building young men.
I'm guessing if either one of us had a hip replacement a couple weeks ago, we might not be here.
Are we going to get to 82?
I'm looking for that turbocharged wheelchair.
We certainly don't have the coach. All right, let's take a look at other bowl games being played today. We'll start with the Outback Bowl. And in this one, Steve Spurrier and the Gamecocks against Iowa. Iowa, of course, the only team to beat Penn State this year. Richard Stanzi finds Trey Strauss for the first touchdown of the year.
But since Iowa upset Penn State, they have been on a roll. This is a good football team, very strong football team. Put too much pressure on South Carolina. The Gamecocks have a lot of work to do in this offseason. Spurrier's got to get it back.
Garcia with a pick. Turns it 16 yards and then Sean Green, his 3rd touchdown of the day.
Yeah, school record, 20 rushing touchdowns this year for Sean Green. Been an amazing story, over 100 yards in every game. They've won 6 of their last 7, Iowa.
31-0. 3rd worst bowl loss for Steve Spurrier.
Great job by the Big Ten. You know, it really shows well for Iowa coming out and doing what they did in this football game. So congratulations to Iowa and Kirk Ferentz for hanging in there and not listening to the distractors.
All right, stick around. We are not done. There's more to come on the Southwest Airlines halftime report. Right now, Michigan State leading 6-3 over Georgia.
The Southwest Airlines halftime report brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees.
Want to get away? Now you can. Fly Southwest Airlines from $49 to $99 to many of our destinations like Denver, San Francisco, Salt Lake City, Los Angeles, Phoenix, San Diego, and more. Go to southwest.com to book now. Low fares, no hidden fees.
The University of Georgia's investment in my growth
as both a student and an individual
were critical to my success in the Rhodes competition.
The support and encouragement offered by my professors
has been instrumental in my academic success.
Only one public university in the nation has 2 2008 Rhodes Scholars, the University of Georgia.
They are the women who never gave you a second look.
I love to be the center of attention.
And the guys who always got the girl.
Is that me? You look so good.
On Monday, they'll get exactly what they deserve.
Welcome to the Spy Room.
In a beauty competition with a twist.
They have no idea that we're judging them on their inner beauty. Huh?
ABC's True Beauty. Series premiere Monday at 10/9 Central, part of Bringing the New Week on ABC.
For the 38th year in a row, the Chevrolet Scholarship Program salutes college football's finest. Chevrolet's 2008 Offensive Player of the Year is Texas junior Colt McCoy. This dual-threat quarterback led the Longhorns in rushing while passing for a school record 32 touchdowns. Amazingly accurate, McCoy completed 77.6% of his throws, on pace to be the best mark in college football history. Chevrolet's 2008 Defensive Player of the Year is Florida linebacker Brandon Spikes. Spikes was the catalyst for one of the nation's best defenses. The junior led a unit that had no senior starters and allowed less than 13 points per game. All over the field, Spikes returned 2 of his 4 picks for touchdowns. Colt McCoy and Brandon Spikes, athletes who use their ingenuity and determination to achieve their best. Chevy is proud to support American colleges and universities and their commitment to the development of new technologies and innovations through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program.
Welcome back once again to the Southwest Airlines halftime report. Capital One halftime coming up in a moment, but the Rose Bowl here in Pasadena, of course, pits USC against Penn State. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but first, the Gator Bowl. Clemson taking on Nebraska. DeAndre McDaniel, fumble return, 28 yards for a touchdown.
You know, a lot of folks are going to look up and say, hey, what's going on here? Clemson hanging with Nebraska. Remember back in August, Clemson was a great, talented football team. They're finally starting to play very well.
Yeah, a lot of people were disappointed in Clemson. That's why Tommy Bowden lost his job there. But Dabo Swinney has turned things around for that team. All right, the BCS lineup. The games that we played for about $9 million for schools. It gets distributed throughout your conference as well. One of them is coming up next, Penn State against USC in the Rose Bowl. Cincinnati, Virginia Tech in the Orange Bowl. Utah, Alabama. Ohio State and Texas, an interesting one in the Fiesta Bowl. And then the championship game between number 2 Florida and number 1 Oklahoma. We all know that Texas beat Oklahoma. But considering the way things played out at the end of the year, did they get it right?
I quit going Christmas shopping. I get stopped in the malls and have people telling me I was an idiot, man. What are you saying? Oklahoma shouldn't be playing there. Hey, the BCS got it right, I guess. The 2 best teams are playing, Oklahoma and Florida. Very good football teams. I couldn't get over the fact that Texas beat Oklahoma on the field. Sorry about that, folks. That's just the way it was. I didn't play the game. I didn't do it. I observed the game. But the 2 best teams are out there, Oklahoma and Florida right now playing.
I agree with that statement, that the 2 best teams are in the game. Did they deserve it? I don't don't think so either. I agree. I think Texas beat them head-to-head. Texas deserved that opportunity. You hang on and you go on to play for the national championship. However, I like the matchup because it's the matchup I predicted in the beginning of the year, John.
Yeah, I do remember something about that at the beginning of the year. So now we're going to make you take it a step further. Who's going to win the game?
I don't know. I got to play.
You didn't know when you picked them either.
I'm going with Oklahoma.
I'm going with Oklahoma. Don King self-promotion here.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Stick around. When we come back, we'll have more of the Capital One halftime show. This is the Southwest Airlines halftime report.
We're big football fans at Capital One. And once again, we're proud to bring you the Capital One Bowl. We also have another tradition, celebrating the unsung heroes of college football, the mascots. Each year, 12 of the most talented college mascots compete in the Capital One Mascot Challenge. Well, the competition is over and millions of you have voted. It's time to announce the Capital One Mascot of the Year.
Your votes are in for the Capital One Mascot Challenge Top Tailgater. It's all come down to this. And the Capital One National Mascot of the Year is... Iowa State University!
What's in your wallet? The Southwest Airlines Halftime Report, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees.
My hometown has big buildings and beautiful lakes.
People from around the world come to visit.
We build cool new airplanes and rockets to outer space.
People here keep our country safe.
They make monsters that battle each other.
They cure people of all kinds of bad stuff.
In a magic land full of beautiful princesses.
This isn't the work of a child's imagination. This is Orlando, Florida. And while fantasy worlds may have put us on the map, the high-tech business of the real world also comes to life here. We're home to UCF, the nation's 7th largest university, and its new medical college, a top research park, Florida Hospital, one of the nation's largest healthcare systems, and more. So these kids can imagine futures as doctors, scientists, and ballerinas without ever having to leave their hometown. Orlando, Florida, putting imagination to work.
Welcome back to the Southwest Airlines Halftime Report. Our show continues as over 350 All-American performers from high schools across America have taken the field as part of ESP Productions' College Football Lives Here. That concludes the Southwest Airlines halftime report. Your second half kick after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
Want to get away? Now you can. Fly Southwest Airlines from $49 to $99 to many of our destinations like Denver, San Francisco, Salt Lake City, Los Angeles, Phoenix, San Diego, and more. Go to southwest.com to book now. Low fares, no hidden fees.
They protect us from harm.
There's narcotics in there.
And defend our freedom.
Looks like it might be weapons.
Take him down.
Move. With your hands. Don't move.
Tuesday, ABC presents a new series.
This is somebody who's coming in here to harm America.
About the heroes who keep us safe at home.
They're going to mess with us, and they're going to get the best shot we got.
Oh, yeah!
ABC's Homeland Security USA premieres Tuesday, 8/7 Central, part of Bring in the New Week on ABC.
Okay, you're going to make a wish on the count of...
Can I just throw that change away when you can get a Pepper Jack Gordita for only 89 cents?
Change the way you see change. It's a Gordita, honey. The Pepper Jack Gordita, an amazing deal for just 89 cents. Why pay more?
Hey guys, did you get anything cool this year?
I got this sweater from my mom.
Festive.
Well, I'm just glad Alltel's holiday sale's finally over.
Ooh, these came out nice.
Wait, what's he doing?
Maybe nobody will notice?
Cool phones.
Now what? Well, maybe that sweater will scare them away.
What do you mean?
Hurry in for this LG Swift with quick keys at the New Year New phone sale or the Motorola Hint with a QWERTY keyboard. And check out our latest touchscreen phone, the Samsung Delve at Alltel Wireless.
Okay, you're going to make a wish on the count of...
Can I just throw that change away when you can get a Pepper Jack Gordita for only 89 cents?
Change the way you see change. It's a Gordita, honey. The Pepper Jack Gordita, an amazing deal for just 89 cents. Why pay more?
Josh Lewis and Big Board Sports, only on WCHS TV.
This is ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Welcome back to ESPN and ABC's special presentation of the Capital One Bowl. And now let's take a look at our first half stats brought to you by Geico. And it's not been so much the stats, Todd. It's been the turnovers and the mistakes that actually count as turnovers but aren't included in the statistics. Just big-time mistakes.
Well, Georgia made more mistakes, but they got away with it because their defense played outstanding. And that, to me, is what stood out in that first half. The play of both defenses. When you consider the last time out for both of these teams, Michigan State gave up 49 to Penn State.
Yeah.
Georgia gave up 45 to Georgia Tech. Neither defense played well at all. Both defenses controlled the action completely in the first half of this game.
Yeah, they've been in total control, and Georgia's defense, I think, made the bigger stand because Michigan State spent virtually both quarters in Georgia territory and only had 2 field goals to show for it. Georgia will get the ball to start the second half. And this is where Marcus Brown, there is a flag down and another flag down on this return.
I thought he got spun around by the face mask myself.
I did too, and there was no flag thrown in that area.
Personal foul, face mask, number 11, 15-yard penalty, first down.
But somebody did see it, obviously, and Marcus Hyde, the safety, is called for it.
Well, Brown has had some nice kickoff returns already in this ballgame. There's the face mask right there, clearly.
Big time.
I don't think it was on number 11, though. 11 got face mask.
Yeah, that's right.
It was Marcus John Mish, number 36, who was the guilty party for Michigan State.
44-yard line.
So they gave the number of the victim rather than the perpetrator. Stafford on first down. They've got the flanker screen for about 5 yards. to Michael Moore. Let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, Knowshon Moreno, just before halftime, was over here on the sideline, and he was pacing. He was muttering to himself. He had this evil look on his face, using language I can't use right now, but he's very frustrated. He had just 24 yards in the first half. He just bounded out of the tunnel for the second half. He looked positive. He looked like he is all set to try to make a name for himself here in the second half. But, boy, I wish you guys could have seen how intense he was stalking the sidelines.
Holly, actually, I saw him from behind on one camera shot we had. You're right. He was very upset. Massaquoi, nice catch, and they just got him by the ankles to bring him down. Ryan Allison with a saving tackle. That's Massaquoi's first catch.
And this is smart by Mark Richten and Mike Bobo. I think they need to come out and attack the perimeter of this Michigan State defense and get those guys involved. I mean, it was rough sledding in there for Knowshon Moreno. They've got to get Green. They've got to get Massaquoi involved in the game. Get them the football. Spread this Michigan State defense out a little bit and attack the perimeter a little bit more.
I mean, those are guys who have more than 1,800 yards receiving this year. Moreno driving straight ahead. He's down to the 37-yard line.
We'll take a look at those two guys you just talked about. Mohamed Massaquoi in his senior year, an outstanding year, 58 catches. A.J. Green. A.J. Green's been bothered the last couple of weeks by a groin injury. I don't know that he's quite 100% as he was earlier in the year, but still a big, tall receiver and a guy they've got to get involved in the game. Has kind of been a non-factor so far today, both Massaquoi and Green.
And they are the #1 tandem in the entire Southeastern Conference. Pressure coming. Moreno out in the flat. Oh, what a great cut. Boy, you can tell Moreno is really psyched more than normal to turn it on here in the second half.
Again, that's just like a running play. You get the ball on the perimeter to a guy and let him make the first guy miss. Ross Weaver is out there, the corner, but Knowshon Moreno is very difficult to tackle one-on-one in space. I mean, he just has the ability to make people miss. Stops, spins, turns directions, and he gets another big play.
Boy, and Trevor Anderson just crushed Matthew Stafford after he threw that ball. 3rd and a yard.
I don't think he got it.
No, he didn't.
He tried to bounce that thing outside to an outside gap and just kept getting pushed further outside.
Eric Gordon, the linebacker, was there to make sure he didn't go any further. And now it's going to be 4th and a yard, and I doubt if there's much of a decision to be made here. They're going to go for it.
I'd say you give it to 24 rather than let 7 run it. Yeah, on 3rd and short or 4th and short. I would give it to 24 and take my chances with him.
I wouldn't mind going outside with it either. He's in the eye right now. Straight ahead, and that will be enough for a first down to the 30.
Thrown in the area where you would expect holding.
And it was thrown at the feet of Ben Jones.
Offense number 61. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
He is their all-star freshman. And that flag was thrown at a point in the play where it made no difference. He already had the first down.
Well, Ben Jones, a true freshman who has really been a great leader for this team. He goes to the ground, then he ends up tackling Orrin Wilson right there and takes him to the ground. He went to dive out to just cut the legs out from Orrin Wilson. Orrin Wilson had backed off the line of scrimmage, and Ben Jones reached out and grabbed him.
And now Georgia being very conservative from the 40-yard line into the kick. Hanging it up in the wind, and they're going to let the ball bounce, and it bounces into the end zone. Georgia did not do a very good job of covering that. Notice Wiley deked him pretty well on the fair catch signal.
Filling my own Capital One credit card. With these new triple rewards, I can decide which category to choose. How about groceries? Perfect. I'll upload a photo. There we go. I was full for 3 days. Cheeseburger!
Cheeseburger! Introducing triple rewards of your choice. Log on to CardLab at CapitalOne.com to personalize your card.
What's in your wallet?
the only thing guaranteed these days is that there are no guarantees. A guarantee used to mean something. It's what freedom is built on. So here's one. The price you pay for a Harley-Davidson Sportster is what you get back when you trade up. So let's ride.
That's the money you could be saving with Geico. What?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
It's the money you could be saving with Geico. You were made for each other. You like money. He likes money. Well, he is money.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Wednesday, January 21st, the New Year's biggest premiere is finally here.
We have to go back!
ABC's Lost, the premiere event, Wednesday, January 21st on ABC.
Our congratulations to Cy of Iowa State University for winning the Capital One National Mascot Challenge. Iowa State will receive $10,000 toward their mascot program.
Cy, as in Cyclone? Iowa State.
Very good.
So is that like a cyclone, or is that a
Cy
of some sort named Cy?
You're asking the wrong guy, obviously. Michigan State will take over at the 20. Ringer will start the second half, picking up a couple, and that's about it. Ellerby led the charge on defense.
The Georgia defense, and I guess I still think they should have been more aggressive at the end of the first half, but I understand what Mark Richt was saying about his defense, because this defense, 4 of their last 5 opponents scored 38 points or better against them. The last team they played, Georgia Tech, ran the ball, rushing yardage, 409 yards. Now, granted, it's that triple option, a much different offense than Michigan State or other running teams, but they are really playing well today. Only 17 yards rushing in the game for Michigan State.
They've been sensational. Ringer goes out as a pass receiver. Nice catch as Asher Allen, the corner, blitzed, and they threw to where he vacated.
Nobody went out with Ringer, did they?
Let's go to Holly.
Well, I caught up with Michigan State coach Mark D'Antonio at halftime. Asked him about all those times in Georgia territory without taking advantage, and he said, you know what, we've got to get Javon Ringer loose. I asked him how they do that. He got a big grin and said, we just have to block better. It's not a complicated game. One other thing to consider, a virus is raging through Michigan State. A lot of players threw up on the way to the game. How it'll affect them in the heat in the second half.
All right, Holly, thanks very much. Hoyer going deep and overthrows Curry, the intended receiver, and he comes up limping. Good coverage by Prince Miller. And that looked like maybe the lower part of his hamstring as he came up lame at the end of it. Trying to stretch out there at the end. Of course, his dad coaching for the Detroit Pistons. I'm sure he'll be concerned about him. And the training staff out to attend to him. The way he's walking right now, it's almost like it's a cramp. And if that's the case, hopefully we'll see him back very quickly. Be a 2nd and 10 for Michigan State. Ringer, the single setback. McPherson, the fullback, out in the flat, taken down by Bird. And boy, that Georgia defense, they have just been so sharp, and they have been put in so many tough situations. And really, every element of the defense, the front wall, the linebackers, and the secondary have all played exceptionally well.
Well, they've got a lot of speed. You know, they lost some of their depth up front, and that was, you know, at the end of last year, they were 2 platoon on defense, and they kept their front 4 fresh the whole game. They weren't able to do that this year, but they're playing very well today.
Comes the blitz on Hoyer, throws underneath, and there's the loose ball. Georgia has it. Now they're going to say incomplete.
Well,
that was close. Cunningham made the catch, and Curran just unloaded on him.
The guy who sets the table for this Georgia defense always is Rennie Curran. I mean, he is the stamp of the Georgia defense. Kind of a throwback guy, just loves to play the game, loves the contact. He reads it, and again, once he recognizes, he comes quickly and just drives right through the receiver, right through the football.
And you can see Cunningham had the ball down around his knees, never really had a good grip on it. That's a good call. It's been a well-officiated ball game. Prince Miller will go back for the punt of Bates. Beautiful kick with the wind. Miller lets it bounce.
Whoa, look at that.
What a roll for Michigan State. That thing was half a yard away from the goal line and just made a left turn. A 53-yard kick down inside the 5. Great job by Bates.
Check this out. With this controller, your character will mimic your exact motions. See? Sweet. Now throw me a pitch, just like we're outside.
You're out. That ends the inning. Next up, shortstop.
Wanna get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, you can fly to destinations nationwide for just $49 to $99. Purchased by January 19th. Low fares, no hidden fees.
On January 16th,
Happy Valentine's Day.
Prepare for a bloody good time. My Bloody Valentine 3D. Rated R. In theaters January 16th.
Happy New Year! Welcome to Progressive.com.
This place is hopping.
It's resolution season.
Well, my resolution? Save money.
Last year, millions of people visited Progressive.com, and those who switched saved an average of over $350.
No wonder it's like a party in here.
I wrote that.
Starting the new year with savings. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
The all-new Nissan Z. It's here.
Scrubs has a new home and a new guest star, Courtney Cox.
This guy's insurance only covers 3 days of ICU care, so we've got to get him out of here today, okay?
Die! 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 ABC Scrubs premiering Tuesday, 9/8 Central on ABC.
The Capital One Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by Capital One. Triple rewards of your choice at CapitalOne.com. What's in your wallet? Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. John Hancock. The future is yours. And Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees.
Aerial coverage of today's game being provided to you by DirecTV. Our thanks to them. And another beautiful day in Orlando, Florida. Georgia now backed up, starting from its own 4-yard line. Marino, the tailback, 3 yards deep in the end zone. He'll get the carry, breaks it outside, breaks a tackle. Marino close to 10 yards, needed to reach the 14 for a first down. Certainly gives them breathing room, and he looks like a guy on a mission right now.
Boy, he's serious, and he broke the tackle of the best tackler on Michigan State's team. Greg Jones had him one-on-one. He was unblocked, and it looked like it was going to be about a 3-yard gain, and Jones not able to get Marino to the ground. And you don't see that very often.
No, you might want to take a picture of that because you may not see it for the next 2 years. Marino's longest carry today, 10 yards. And it was just enough for a first down. That's a big break when you're starting the series at the 4. Stafford, who has had a lousy day.
He doesn't look comfortable.
The ball. No, he doesn't.
You know, and credit to Michigan State's defense and Patrick Narduzzi, the coordinator, with enough pressure, enough blitzes, enough times to knock the quarterback around where he has not looked like he's in rhythm. That's clearly a trap, bounced into the arms of Massapron, and that's an easy throw for Matthew Stafford.
Absolutely.
He just didn't look good throwing that pass.
He's only thrown for 93 yards on 9 out of 18. Those are hardly Matthew Stafford-like numbers.
And he's coming off a game, his last game, he threw for a career-high 470 yards and a school record 5 touchdowns against Georgia Tech, but he's not been in rhythm today.
Sidearms that one to Marino. Good place to call, good place to go if you can't find anybody open. And it's almost like on some of these throws, he's really not throwing it. He's trying to, you know, just force it in there. Third and 5. That's what he did against Georgia Tech. Todd referring to that last game with 5 touchdowns.
Well, here's a big play right here. A big third down play. His mother, Margaret, looking on. A good chance to kind of get back in rhythm. A big-time throw on third down can do that for a quarterback.
5-man rush. They don't get there. There's a good throw and a first down. Perfect strike to Michael Moore. Taken down by the freshman Johnny Adams, a gain of 16.
And see, that time he got set, he got his feet in position, and he stepped into it and made a big-time throw. I mean, you know, he's got that kind of ability. He's got a great arm. He steps up, good balance in the pocket, steps into the throw, and throws it right in between 2 Michigan State defenders.
Sometimes, though, you just feel off, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to just fight as a quarterback to get back on and find a rhythm somehow.
Looked like a little end-around action coming. Instead, they gave it to Marino. He'll pick up a yard. Trevor Anderson and Greg Jones combined on the stop. Matthew Stafford, the junior quarterback, big-time recruit out of Dallas, Texas. His first name actually John, and he was a summer counselor at the Manning passing camp. And now rated the number 2 quarterback in the draft behind Sam Bradford of Oklahoma.
And I don't know what Sam Bradford's going to do, but I personally think Matthew Stafford would do himself well coming back to Georgia for another year. I mean, he obviously could go and will be a first-round draft pick, but if he comes back, I think it would benefit him.
Going to whistle this one dead. It would have been the first completion for Green.
All-star offense number 79. 5-yard penalty.
But they'll
Still
have
second
to
down.
do it over again. That's Justin Anderson, who moved early.
One of the reasons I say that about Matthew Stafford is first of all, he's rated the number 2 quarterback. And if he comes back next year, there's a great chance that he would be the number 1 rated quarterback, which financially translates into a better deal or a better situation if you're the number 1 rated guy at your position going out into the draft. The other thing is this offensive line that starts 2 freshmen and 3 sophomores right now is going to be a very good offensive line next year. He has not played behind a very good offensive line this year or for most of last year.
Good protection this time. Green makes the catch across the 40 to about the 41. Let's check in with Holly. The first catch for Green.
Well, you know, Matthew Stafford went to that Manning camp this last summer, and he really spent some time seeing the Manning brothers, seeing what it would take to be a high-level quarterback for the NFL. And what he learned was he had to be perfect in practice. his offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo, says, you know, he just did a great job of doing all the little things right this year. His teammates have learned they can count on him. He does everything right in practice, and it's just translated to the games to make him so much better in his junior season.
And you know, Holly, both he and Marino seem to really enjoy the college experience. Durham on the flanker screen. They let the entire front wall through. That was well set up, and Durham gains 13 yards.
Yeah, really well executed play. Timed out very nicely by Durham. Durham, he kind of faked out and came back underneath, and by that time the linemen were down in front of him, and a very nice play on third down for Georgia. Durham is in the slot right here. He's going to start out and then back in before they get this screenplay. Nice timing by Chris Durham, and it gives those linemen down the field, and a first down for the Bulldogs.
And they really suckered in the front wall there. Marino hasn't had a lot of room to run, and Allison, who's been very active from his linebacker spot, made that tackle.
Michigan State is getting really good penetration, and that's what's hurting Knowshon Marino. They're not allowing him to get a full head of steam up into the hole. They're getting penetration into the backfield. They're knocking his feet out from under him some, and that's what's frustrating for Marino. But the good news for Georgia is it looks like Matthew Stafford is starting to get his groove back a little bit. I mean, he's starting to feel it, and he looks better throwing the football here in this series.
Knowshon only has 36 yards rushing, and it's taken him 14 carries to get it. Stafford, they want to screen again. They've got it to King, and the backup tailback to Knowshon Marino gets a significant gain, and that will move the sticks for another Georgia first down.
Well, this is a good call by Mike Bobo, because pressure is going to come from the outside, and the screen is going to go right over in that area that they left. Pressure comes from the outside linebacker in the corner. Caleb King just slips right out behind him into that voided area, and it's a good place and a good time to run that screen pass for Georgia.
And certainly Michigan State studied its tape. They're not going to expect King to make that catch. It's only his fourth of the entire year. Play action fake by Stafford. This is more. Touchdown. What a great move by Stafford, because he got the safety, the all-conference safety, Wiley, out of position with that fake, and then through the post. That was pretty.
It was beautiful, and you could just feel Matthew Stafford got his groove back on this drive. I mean, he was 9 for 10 in the second half, and most of it on this drive. That was beautifully done.
And all it takes from that safety is one step to go the wrong way, and you're not going to be able to make the play. And Moore's got enough speed to make him pay for it, and did just that. Georgia back on top at the Capital One Bowl here in Orlando.
Small. Big. Minimum. Maximum. A lot.
For a little. Nissan Versa. 34 mpg and the largest passenger interior volume in its class for under $10,000.
It's time saving energy costs less. It's time guaranteed low prices got even lower. At the Home Depot, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items throughout the store, including energy-efficient ones like appliances and insulation. So come in now and find out how saving money today can save you even more later. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Back to ESPN and ABC special presentation of the Capital One Bowl. Glad you could join us today from beautiful Orlando. And that was a spectacular drive. 96 yards, 10 plays, took nearly 6 minutes off the clock. And Matthew Stafford finally came alive, broke out of the doldrums 6 out of 7, and 92 yards passing on that drive. So 92 of the 96 came on Stafford's arm. Jimerson and Wiley are deep for Walsh's kick. Wiley up the sideline. Looking for room. Takes a big hit from behind. Goes down at the 27. Back to the touchdown, Todd.
Well, Mohamed Massaquoi is right here. Now, he is the leading receiver, and he's going to run a little screen, and they're going to fake the screen. And what I want you to do is keep an eye on these two safeties as they react to the fake screen. Stafford is going to pump fake to Massaquoi. And watch the safeties. They both got beat right now. Otis Wiley's out of position. Marcus Hyde's out of position. And the receiver's going to split him right in there. And Matthew Stafford's going to find him. He set it up with the fake. The safeties bid on the fake. And Georgia gets a big-time touchdown.
And if you're that defensive player, it's a sickening feeling when you take that step and then you know what's coming. Ringer can't get outside. And that Georgia defense is now flying to the ball. Asher Allen was the guy who knocked him out of bounds after Rennie Curran made the initial hit. These guys are playing hard. Let's go to Holly.
Well, guys, there's been a lot of energy on this Georgia sideline since the start of the game, but a lot of it coming from the defense. The offense has seemed kind of tight, tense, because they haven't been moving the ball. But after that last long drive, it was like a big breath of relief. They just opened the floodgates over here. Stafford was congratulating everybody, and Mikey Moore went over to him and said, hey, I knew you had to come to me on that because they'd set it up so nice.
That was a perfect throw, a perfect route. This one's tipped, nearly intercepted, and this is going to be interference as Brown was right on top of Dell. Remarcus Brown, contact too early.
Yeah, I thought he came over the back of Dell to make a play on the ball and made contact before the ball got there.
Nice throw by Hoyer, too.
Defense number 11. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Just got there a little early. And now it's up to Michigan State's defense.
I'll tell you, the guy who's
Michigan State's offense, rather.
The guy's been really quiet for Michigan State is Blair White, their leading receiver. Came into the game with 39 catches, only 1 catch today, similar to Mohamed Massaquoi on the Georgia side.
Ringer works his way forward for a couple, and there's that guy Curran again. Asher Allen on top trying to tear the ball away. And there is White. Guy who's averaged better than 16 yards a catch all season. And they've only tried him 3 times today. And one of the Georgia players slow to get up. And it's the middle linebacker, Donnell Ellerby. Sunday, it's an all-new Desperate Housewives, a new year, new shockers, and best of all, the juiciest episodes ever. That's Desperate Housewives, Sunday at 9, 8 Central on ABC. They're pretty juicy before. Ringer, the single setback on 2nd and 8. Hoyer throwing and overthrew Dell, who had a step on the defender, beat Allen to the outside that time.
Well, that's one Brian Hoyer wishes he had back, too, because there haven't been a lot of times where he's seen open guys running in the deep part of this Georgia defense. And he had Dell that time breaking to the post corner route and just overthrew it.
Michigan State facing that bugaboo for them today. 3rd down. They're only 3 of 11 on 3rd down conversions, and this is another long one, 3rd and 8. Georgia comes with the blitz. They don't get there. And first down at midfield. Hoyer slides in and then points to Allen, because when you slide, you're supposed to be protected from contact, and he wasn't.
Well, it was a good decision by Brian Hoyer, because blitz means man coverage. Man coverage means everybody is running with receivers. Nobody's accounting for the quarterback, and Brian Hoyer not known as a running quarterback. So they opened it up for him. They gave him an opportunity to make the play, and he did the right thing by running for the first down.
Big third down conversion. About a minute and a half to go, third quarter. Hoyer under pressure this time, and down he goes at the 42, the 5th sack for that Georgia defense. Corey Irvin.
Well, Michigan State had only allowed 18. Just pressure, I mean, right here in the middle. Just, I mean, the pocket just collapses. Corey Irvin, number 90, just right inside, right up the gut of the quarterback, and nowhere to go. Justin Houston also coming from the outside from his defensive end position. Corey Irvin, a junior college transfer, came from Georgia Military College, really had a big-time year this year as a senior.
The most Georgia has ever had in a bowl game is 8. Hoyer throws incomplete, intended for Dell. Brown was there, so was Miller, and that one wasn't even close. And sometimes after you're sacked that much, you start to feel the pressure, whether it's there or not.
Well, and what's happening in this game today, to me, when anybody ever talks about the SEC, the Big Ten, speed and power and all that, and what's the difference? The speed difference in the SEC from anywhere else in the Big Ten or any other conference is not on the perimeter. It's not in the skill guys. It's in the front. It's in the defensive linemen in the SEC are faster, tackles and ends, than you see in any other league in college football.
Third and very long. Hoyer trying to roll away from pressure, rolls right into it and throws out of bounds. It was intercepted by Bird, but he was about 5 steps into the bench by that time.
Just to finish that up, I mean, you know, everybody made such a big deal about Ohio State in the last 2 championship games against Florida and LSU and not being able to match up with the speed. They matched up with the speed in the skill position, but up front, the speed of the defensive fronts for both Florida and LSU the last 2 years was something that you don't see week in and week out in the Big Ten Conference, and that's where the difference shows up.
We're talking about little guys either. We're talking about big guys with speed. They will have to kick it away. Bates, who got off a beauty last time, will kick to Miller, and kicking with the wind. This is a poor kick. Miller runs up on it. He's got a seam. Kicker to beat. Just caught by Greg Jones. Oh, what a save by Jones.
The starting middle linebacker on punt coverage makes the saving tackle. Prince Miller had a 92-yard touchdown against Alabama in a game that we did earlier in the season.
Well, this was a 39-yard return after a 32-yard punt.
After the change of possession, dead ball, personal foul. Michigan State, number 34. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Brandon Denson, a linebacker, called for the personal foul. That will cost them 15 yards.
Greg Jones was the personal protector on that play, I think. Back there close to the punter and kind of the safety, and made a touchdown-saving tackle.
Boy, did he ever.
Wow.
Because Miller made a great move on the kicker. He left him. And if Jones doesn't make that tackle and make it right then, it's over. But what great field position for the Georgia Bulldogs. This presentation of the Capital One Bowl will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
With Capital One Card Lab's new Triple Rewards, me and the boys are having a tough time deciding which category to choose. Like Triple Rewards on restaurants and entertainment. Or home improvement. Maybe department stores.
You're definitely an Autumn.
Or Triple Rewards on travel. Or gas and groceries.
Introducing Triple Rewards of your choice. Log on to Card Lab at CapitalOne.com to personalize your card.
What's in your wallet?
1 latte. Keep the change. Whoa.
can use that change to get double the beef for only 89 cents.
Double the beef.
Change the way you see change. The cheesy double beef burrito. Double the beef for only 89 cents. Why pay more?
On DVD January 6th, for an assassin, the trick is to get out before they take you out. Nicolas Cage. This is what I do. Bangkok Dangerous on Blu-ray and DVD January 6th.
Sunday, the kickoff to the Housewives' 100th episode event begins.
I'm going to do what I have to make sure my family is safe.
ABC's Desperate Housewives. All new Sunday at 9/8 Central on ABC.
Tuesday, it's the comedy about highly focused medical professionals.
You seen a new administrative assistant?
For some reason, whenever I see a pretty girl for the first time, I always imagine her hair blowing in slow-mo.
Sometimes a little too focused.
Damn, my psyche.
ABC Scrubs. All new episodes premiering Tuesday, 9/8 Central. Part of Bring in the New Week on ABC.
Coming in April, the Majesty of Augusta. Former Masters winners Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods battle the reigning champion Trevor Immelman for the green jacket. Will Tiger be back after season-ending knee surgery a year ago? You can see the first and second round coverage of the Masters on ESPN. Nothing like it. Augusta, Georgia, the cathedral. Out in the flat, Aaron White, the tight end touchdown. And Matthew Stafford, after uncharacteristically throwing one poor pass after another, is calling the third quarter his own. That was another perfect toss.
A perfect toss and a perfect call by Mike Bobo again. After the big punt return, the penalty, good field position, line up in the I formation, fake it to Marino, and go play action and throw to a guy you haven't thrown to yet today.
For White, his third catch this year. And what a better time to roll out number 3. What a great throw by Stafford.
Well, see, now, because you've got a receiver coming in motion here, that brings the safety over here. So they overload the secondary. The tight end is going to go down the sideline. Marino is going to go out in the flat. You've got 2 against 1 over on the other side. And Matthew Stafford finds the right guy. The corner comes up for the short receiver. Stafford goes over the top to the tight end. And Georgia in the end zone again.
And here's another thing that, as a defense, you had not seen this on film. The guy's caught 2 balls in 12 games coming into this one. So it's not something that's really going to get your attention. And he did a great job of showing block before he went out for the pass.
He sure did. Well, in the play action fake by Stafford to Marino, you have to respect that. You've got to come up and run support. And the tight end position, we talked about the injuries for Georgia. No position hurt worse than the tight ends. I mean, all of them have been banged up. Aaron White is a freshman out of Columbia, Missouri, who had to play just because the 2 guys in front of him missed most of the season, Trent Chandler and Bruce Figgins.
Jimerson and Wiley are deep, and all of a sudden it's 17-6. And they kick it out of bounds.
You know, and I go back to the point I made in the first half, which was Michigan State in the first half had 26 plays in Georgia territory. And they gained 23 yards, and they only scored 6 points. And on top of that, they had 2 turnovers that they forced, and a miscue by the punter, Brian Mims, that gave them good field position, but they only were able to come up with 6 points out of those 26 plays. And that always comes back to get you.
It's a big red flag that pops up and says, uh-oh, you're in trouble. Right. You've blown too many chances, and you only get so many. 9 seconds to go in the third quarter, and all at once, Michigan State is going to have to show some urgency on offense. They're down 2 scores right now and have not shown the ability to move it that quickly or that consistently. This presentation of the Capital One Bowl will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
What you got?
Want to get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, you can fly to destinations nationwide for just $49 to $99. Purchased by January 19th. Low fares, no hidden fees.
It's gonna be a late one, people. What a bummer, dude.
Now you won't be able to watch me on DirecTV tonight.
Relax, Red. Look, I can easily set my home DVR to record you right from here. Done.
Wow.
You know, you're a little scary up close.
With DirecTV, you can easily set your home DVR from any cell phone or computer. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Behind this door lies the first patient they may not want to save.
I think this is a waste of time.
I agree with you.
It's inhumane.
ABC's Grey's Anatomy. All new next Thursday at 9/8 Central on ABC.
St. Mary's Medical Center just had an amazing year. New state-of-the-art intensive care units. New technology. More conveniences for patients and visitors. St. Mary's will always lead the way, and as the new year begins, you'll see construction on a new lobby and completion of our $10 million Center for Education, where we're training the nurses and healthcare professionals of tomorrow. Another great year's ahead for St. Mary's. Thanks for allowing us to serve you.
Please, please, can I have a new phone, Mom? Please? Everybody's got new phones.
Please? Can I have a music phone? Oh, all the guys have them. My phone is so late.
They've all been begging, and this is your last chance to get your whole family new phones at the Intellos End of the Year Blowout, extended through January 7th. You'll get an LG Music phone with MP3 player for just $9.99, plus 4 more phones free. So hurry into Intellos before they're gone.
West Virginia Wildlife with Patrick McMurtry on WCHS-TV.
ESPN on ABC's special presentation of the Capital One Bowl is available in sparkling clear high definition. Do yourself a favor. If you don't have it, at least go look and see a demonstration. It will change the way you look at television. Marino and Ringer, the two stars, held in check for the most part. Both defenses have played well. Georgia's defense has started to dominate. Hoyer, short set, throws, complete for a short gain.
See, the problem for Michigan State in this game right now is they don't have any wide receivers on the field that scare Georgia. Right. And so Georgia is playing man, and they're blitzing Brian Hoyer, and they don't feel like they can get run by any of these wide receivers from Michigan State. So they're just locking down. They're sitting on routes and squatting on routes like that. And until Michigan State shows that they can get by them or throw something down the field, Georgia will continue to just kind of sit on this offense.
That last pass was to a fullback, Rouse. This one is underneath to White. White making his first catch. And he'll be about a yard shy of a first down. Excuse me, that's 2 for White, who came in with 39 grabs on the year. That led this ball club coming in. Of course, 39 is not that many over the course of 12 games either.
Well, they didn't throw the ball, excuse me, as much this year as they did a year ago. Brian Hoyer, his numbers were down this year compared to last year, only 51% completions.
Yeah.
But it was mostly Javon Ringer.
Bates will now kick into the wind. Hangs this one high into it. And fair catch made at the 11-yard line. Boy, it's been a great quarter for Stafford, hasn't it, Todd?
It sure was. I mean, he started slowly in this ball game, but in the third quarter, he got his groove back, and he just started finding open receivers, stepping into throws, seeing the field, moving people with his eyes, with his arm. And at the end of the third quarter, he had completed 10 passes in 11 attempts, and 2 of them for touchdowns, and Georgia out to a 17-6 lead. And he shows you, the guy has a gift. I mean, he is a gifted quarterback. I know that some people rate Sam Bradford ahead of him. I actually like him more than Sam Bradford. Now, I like Sam Bradford a lot. Heisman Trophy winner. We saw him twice. But I think arm-wise and skill-wise, this guy is a little bit better.
Stafford in trouble, and down he goes.
Ouch.
Why he kept that ball rather than throwing it away, I don't know. Brandon Long made the tackle, and Stafford looked like he hurt himself on that.
It did. I mean, he got up and is walking it off, but it looked like it was going to be a bad deal for Matthew Stafford. Kind of holds on to it, not sure what to do with the football, and Brandon Long never slowed down. Young man out of Canton, Ohio, my hometown, played at Glen Oak High School. His 5th sack of the season.
Well, it looks like he had that leg bent under him. Somehow he got out of it without a big injury. Marino trying to get to the outside, barely got out of the end zone.
Well, I'll tell you, both of these defenses have been locked on radar target on the two running backs. I mean, Knowshon Moreno has not had room to run. Javon Ringer has not had room to run. It starts with penetration, which forces the play to bounce outside, and then it's getting green shirts to the football. And almost always you're going to see number 53 there for Michigan State.
And 58, Trevor Anderson has had a pretty good game. He's been very active from that left end spot. You talked about the last series on offense for Michigan State being big. This is a huge series for their defense.
Huge play right here, because if they can get the ball back here again, they'll get excellent field position again.
Marino on the draw, following his blockers, gets only out to the 7-yard line, takes a late hit and is not very happy about it. Marino talking to the umpire.
Knowshon Moreno this year became only the 2nd running back in Georgia history. I bet you can't guess the other one who had consecutive seasons of 1,000 yards. Herschel did it 3 years in a row. Knowshon 2 years in a row. The only other guy.
You didn't let me guess. Mims is on to punt to Wiley. No pressure on him. With the wind, he just killed it. Wiley all the way back to the 30. A lot of room to run, but he's dumped at the 37. So Mims with a 61-yard kick made up for that flub in the first half as he just bombed that one away. We'll have a comprehensive and caloric review of the gastric phenomena known as Todd's Taste of the Town coming up.
You put your foot down and it just goes. It's kind of saying, "Rrr." The Hemi did it. I love it. It's awesome. Yeah! That Hemi hits hard. Bam! Boom! Truck just kicked into gear. I completely forgot I was pulling a trailer. Niggles, amazing. It was a smooth ride. Fantastic. Go, 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 go! That's how we roll.
When this shoe store added Aflac to its employee benefits package at no direct cost to the company, it was a perfect fit.
Let's do it.
Find out more at forbusiness.com.
Eventually, every man has a wake-up call. When one he did last night catches up with him the next morning. Alka-Seltzer wake-up call. Proven ingredients for speedy relief of hangover, headache, and fatigue. Wake up, man up.
With Capital One Card Lab's new Triple Rewards, me and the lads are having a tough time deciding which category to choose. Like Triple Rewards on electronics. Or gas and groceries.
10 items, Bob.
Maybe Triple Rewards on restaurants and entertainment. Or travel.
Introducing Triple Rewards of your choice. Log on to Card Lab at CapitalOne.com to personalize your card.
What's in your wallet?
We have to go back.
ABC's Lost, the premiere event, Wednesday, January 21st on ABC.
Welcome back to ESPN on ABC's special presentation of the Capital One Bowl. We're in the fourth quarter, 17-6. Georgia with the lead. Matthew Stafford after that last series. Banged up a little bit, holding onto the top of that flak jacket. And And that jack is not going to save you from everything. Ringer in the flat. Got a good block and then lost his footing and went down at the 50. Well, for Todd, it's been a season-long journey sampling local cuisine across the nation. Here's some of the highlights from this year's Taste of the Town.
I love this job.
Now, our crew, this is wrong. Very rarely is our crew wrong.
They are wrong.
They said 16,000 calories was consumed. 16,000 was before you got through the door.
No.
The 2 breakfasts you had back-to-back were 16,000 calories. Michigan State has made it to the 35. First down. Hoyer under pressure. Flushed and throws to the sideline to White. Makes the catch to 31.
Very important drive going right here for Michigan State. Their defense got a 3-and-out. They forced the punt. Mims got a great punt off. But now here's Michigan State again in Georgia territory. Remember, the story of the first half, 26 plays in Georgia territory, 23 yards and only 6 points.
Hoyer throws the out intended for his tight end Garrett Selleck, and that was too high. I mean, think about the calories. You go to a fast food restaurant and you get a cheeseburger and French fries, and that's about 800 calories. I mean, the size of the omelets you ate, the size of a small child.
Well, yeah, but it was a lot of all natural products. Good stuff.
What, like 14 eggs in one omelet?
It wasn't that bad.
Please.
It wasn't a 14.
Well, one of them said it was a 10-egg omelet.
Yeah,
they
that
advertised.
was not right. Those were pigeon eggs.
Hoyer throws the slant and threw it behind his receiver. Dell had good inside position on that quick post, and he threw it behind him.
Yeah, that was one that, again, great field position. They had it all first half. They're down 2 scores, and I think they got to go for it here. I mean, that was a throw that Brian Hoyer could have made. He just threw it behind his intended receiver.
It would be about a 48, 49-yard field goal if they wanted to try it. And they need 2 scores. Blitz coming. Hoyer throws. And that is going to be so close. So close. Cunningham stretched
He got
out.
it. He had to get past the yard line, and he got it with the catch and the reach. It was a good hit right after the catch, but Cunningham got it. Now here they go. No huddle.
Flag is down. Looked like they might not have been set as Selleck makes the catch. It was a heck of an effort on the last play by Cunningham to reach out there and get that.
Georgia had too many people on the field. They were trying to get guys off the field, and they didn't get them all run off the field in time, I don't think. Michigan State may not have been set, but Georgia had too many players on the field. Michigan State tried to line up and go quick snap without substituting. Georgia was trying to substitute on the play.
Illegal substitution, defense number 5. Player did not get off the field in time. Penalty decline, result play, second down.
If the offense does not substitute, they do not have to give the defense time to do the same.
And they didn't. They lined up to go quick count. 2 guys were trying to run off the field for Georgia, but they were jogging off and not sprinting off before the ball was snapped.
Just a smart play on Michigan State's part. Hoyer again throws the slant. Dell with the catch inside the 10. Down to the 4. Here's Holland.
Guys, Mark Richt is livid on the sideline. He actually had to be warned and moved to the side by the other umpires. He actually said our guy was 2 yards off the sideline. Come on, you cannot throw a flag for something like that. He was almost off. I've never seen him this mad.
Georgia's going to have to take a timeout here. And this time, I think they had only 10 guys on the field. So Georgia's defense having a problem.
With Capital One Card Lab's new triple rewards, me and the boys are having a tough time deciding which category to choose. Like triple rewards on restaurants and entertainment. Or home improvement. Maybe department stores.
You're definitely an Autumn.
Or triple rewards on travel. Or gas and groceries.
Introducing triple rewards of your choice. Log on to Card Lab at CapitalOne.com to personalize your card.
What's in your wallet?
Dude, I just hooked up my new PS3. Yeah, I got Resistance 2 on the new MotorStorm.
Bring it!
See you in 10. Hi.
What's that?
It's our new movie downloading machine.
That's a PlayStation 3.
No, look. Hancock, The Dark Knight.
Or 50 First Dates.
Now?
Now you can download thousands of your favorite movies and TV shows straight to your PS3.
Oh, it's got like toolboxes. Ah! That's a Ram box. That's pretty freaking cool. You know, you need that space. Put some fishing poles in there, shovels and hammers and stuff.
Go, 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 go!
I can't believe they let us do that.
The Capital One Bowl on ABC. Brought to you by Capital One. Triple rewards of your choice at CapitalOne.com. What's in your wallet? The all-new Dodge Ram. Never back down from a challenge. Allstate. Proud sponsors of college football. Are you in good hands? And PlayStation Network. Download, play, connect.
Michigan State trying to fight its way back into this with 9:27 to go. They have reached the Georgia 4-yard line. It will be 1st and goal for Brian Hoyer and the Spartans offense. Ringer picks his way close to the 1. Nice block by Joel Foreman, the left guard.
He got knocked off his course a little bit. He still got in there and made a block, but he got knocked back a step or two, and that disrupted the timing a little bit on that play. Ringer was trying to stay in right on his hip and take it into the end zone.
2nd and goal from the 1. 2 fullbacks in front of Ringer. And Ringer goes outside for the score. Michigan State, when it had to, got a block from McPherson. One of the 2 fullbacks in there. He cleared out the right side.
Hawken and McPherson. Both fullbacks were in the game at the same time. It was kind of a triple stack formation behind the quarterback, and both of the fullbacks got key blocks, and Ringer was able to bounce it outside into the end zone.
Now they're going to go for 2. Ringer with his 22nd rushing touchdown. That breaks Lorenzo White's school record. Now they'll go for 2. Hoyer goes to the shotgun. Under pressure, throws for the end zone, too high, incomplete. And that was the tight end, Charlie Gant, saying he thought he was held.
Yeah, I did too.
Team Dent really unloaded on Hoyer.
I thought Charlie Gant did get held because it was a design play where he was faking out and going back to the post, and there was a grab, and the ball sailed over his head.
Hoyer wincing in discomfort as he leaves the field.
You put your foot down and it just goes. It's kind of saying, "Rrr."
The Hemi did it.
I love it.
It's awesome. Yeah! That Hemi hits hard. Bam!
Boom! Truck just kicked into gear.
I completely forgot I was pulling a trailer. Niggles, amazing.
It was a
smooth ride. Fantastic.
Go, 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 go! That's how we roll.
Hey, Vincent!
Go State!
Hey, Ham. Why did that guy call you Vincent?
Because that's my real name, Bergwood.
It is? How do you know that?
He's my Allstate agent.
Oh, he insures your car.
And my boat.
You got a boat?
Ah, my wife is a big-time skier.
You're married?
Allstate agents know who you really are and what you really need. Call one today for a free Good Hands coverage checkup. Are you in good hands?
Where'd you meet your wife?
Pilates.
She's European.
Tuesday on ABC. Their job, dangerous.
This is when the action starts.
The threats, real.
Oh my God, we have human skulls here.
The only thing between us and the trouble outside our borders are America's heroes.
Let's do it.
Put your hands out the window.
These are the real stories of the people who protect us all.
We're defenders of our nation. I'm going to protect my own.
ABC's Homeland Security USA premieres Tuesday, 8/7 Central, part of Bring in the New Week on ABC.
Take a look at the last two-point conversion. Man coverage for Georgia. So everybody is singled up here. Rashad Jones is going to be on the tight end. And the tight end, Charlie Gant, is the intended receiver. I thought he got held. Right here, you see that looks like a hold right in there by Rashad Jones, the safety. Got away with it. And Brian Hoyer not only didn't get the completion, but took a real shot at the end of the play in the backfield.
He just got creamed. Catch taken by one of the up men across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Every player can smell the roses. Every team wants to make history. Every eye is on Pasadena. It's the granddaddy of them all. The 8th-ranked Nittany Lions of Penn State against the 5th-ranked USC Trojans in the 2009 Rose Bowl game presented by Citi. Coverage begins following our game today, 4:30 Eastern on ABC and ABC HD.
It's going to be a heck of a football game. I really do. USC's defense, the best I saw all year. But Penn State's defense is awful salty themselves. And I think their defense will keep them in the game, and the game will get into the fourth quarter. And Penn State's got a great chance. I really do.
Marino on the toss. Finally a little running room as he's up to the 39-yard line. The thing about the USC defense, when we did them 2 weeks in a row, they were talking about 9 of the 11 guys on that defensive unit being drafted on the first day, which means first or second round. 9 of the 11, that's just unbelievable.
It is pretty scary, quite honestly. But the interesting thing, again, according to Scouts Inc., the highest rated draft prospect in that game is the defensive end Aaron Maben from Penn State, a junior who may declare to come out as well. He's
what
the
a pass rusher.
Yep.
This one's complete out in the flat to Michael Moore, who's had a very big ball game. His 6th catch, including that one great pattern he ran for a touchdown. Johnny Adams made the tackle. Moore is a junior out of Fort Lauderdale.
He's really stepped up because, again, A.J. Green, who had such a great freshman season, has been bothered by the groin injury, and he doesn't look 100% in this ball game. He hasn't been out there all the time. Massaquoi, they've done a pretty good job of containing him, and it's allowed other guys to step up, and Michael Moore has done that today.
Moore, 6 catches, 97 yards. Pressure coming. Stafford throws it incomplete. Had 2 receivers in the area, but just trying to unload that one. Chandler and Durham had a short man and a deep man, but wasn't close to either.
And, you know, a guy who you've called his name a few times today, Trevor Anderson, was the guy right there who put a shot on Stafford, stayed at home on the bootleg. He has really played well today. Out of Detroit, Michigan. He's the team's leader with 8 sacks coming into the game. And coaches said he just had a great bowl week of practice. Really practiced well, and he's translated that into the game here today.
Guy that started his career at Cincinnati. and transferred to Michigan State. Stafford to Durham on the flanker screen. Got a good block. And Durham dives forward and should have a first down at the Michigan State 43.
Yeah, Kenneth Harris did a great job leading the play out there. Whenever you run wide receiver screens, the other guy has got to be a blocker. And Kenneth Harris is blocking on Johnny Adams, who's a true freshman cornerback. And he did a nice job just keeping his feet, gets those hands back in front, and just keeps moving. It started as a hold, it ended up as a good block, and Durham is the beneficiary of it.
Well, if nothing else, if you can get out there and just chicken fight with somebody. And that's Wiley, the first-team All-Big Ten safety. It's a guy they could ill afford to lose, led them in interceptions, third in tackles. Well, let's go to Holly.
Well, you guys talk about defensive end Trevor Anderson having a big game right now. In large part, it's because Josh Davis, the starting right tackle for Georgia, is out for the game with a left shoulder injury. He's been out all of the second half. In his place is a redshirt freshman, Justin Anderson. It seems like they're trying to take advantage of him a little bit due to that injury.
All right, thanks, Holly.
You know, Justin Anderson had some starting experience. He got banged up and was out. He's just now back. So it's not that he doesn't know what he's doing or can't play, because he has been a starter, but he has been out for a while and just back off of an injury. And again, it's a different deal coming out here doing it live in the game than it is in practice.
Stafford goes to the gun, another first down for Georgia, and Stafford will keep after faking to Marino and slides in safely at the 32. That's the second time they have run that read option, and the second time Stafford has kept it.
Yeah, you don't have to do this very often, but you got to keep the defense honest, and nobody expecting Matthew Stafford to keep that football. We've talked about Trevor Anderson. That time he chased Marino the whole way.
He really got sucked in toward the middle of that line, and Stafford was past him in a heartbeat. And Matthew's smart enough to know, I've gotten all I can get out of this. I'm going to do a little hook slide at the 32.
It's been fun for me to watch his development and growth as a quarterback. I just think he is really special and is going to be an outstanding NFL quarterback.
I know you have always liked his skill. Marino takes it to the outside down to the 26. Chris L. Rucker made the tackle as Marino has had a pretty good second half. And Eric Gordon hurt for Michigan State. We're at the Capital One Bowl. Glad you could join us today. Been a defensive battle for most of the afternoon, and then Georgia had an outstanding second half defensively and started to pick it up on offense. Michigan State going after its third 10-win season in school history. Georgia is in its 12th straight bowl game, 8 under Mark Richt. Every year he has been the coach at Georgia, they have gone bowling. Second down, Marino again. This time he'll reach the 25-yard line. Greg Jones made the tackle.
But really, the difference in this game was Matthew Stafford in the third quarter. He caught fire. He went 10 for 11 in the quarter. 2 of those 10 completions were for touchdowns, and that was enabled them to stretch a lead out on Michigan State. The Spartans subsequently scored in the fourth quarter to draw closer at 17-12, but Matthew Stafford in the third quarter was outstanding, really, in the second half.
3rd and 3. The clock is Georgia's ally right now, down to 5:09. Stafford looking to get another first down and should have it at the 21. This complete to Goodman, who gets his name in the scorebook. Young man with a track background who's got blinding speed.
Good read that time by Goodman and Matthew Stafford. It was a corner blitz. Chris L. Rucker, the corner, came on the blitz, and Stafford saw it. It came right into his face. He was able to get the ball to Goodman, and then Goodman got the first down.
4 fresh downs with the clock running for Georgia. Probably going to see a big dose of Marino here. Runs into Stafford. Runs into his own man. And still got back almost to the line of scrimmage.
And we we talked about these two guys, two outstanding, talented juniors, Marino and Stafford. What will they do next year? You know, in some way, I think that Marino might be smart to go to the NFL. I think Stafford might be, it would be good for him to come back. I'd love to see both of them come back as a college football fan, but for a running back, you know, you've only got so many carries in you. You've only got so many hits in you. And, you know, he's the #1 ranked running back by most people coming out. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes.
Stafford throws, and Durham couldn't hold it.
You know, we mentioned Matthew Stafford going and working the Manning camp, and as did Brian Hoyer. And, you know, both of those guys, Eli and Peyton Manning, I'm sure they would talk about that issue. And both of them decided to come back for a final year in college. And that college experience, you'll never get that back. You'll never enjoy that senior season on a college campus or anything like that, particularly playing quarterback at a school in the Southeastern Conference. It doesn't get much better than that.
Those were two guys about as centered and as realistic as any people you will ever meet. Stafford looks for the end zone. Marino, touchdown.
Wow, beautiful.
What a throw.
And that ends up being a bit of a mismatch. As good as a player as Greg Jones is, he's in man-to-man coverage against Knowshon Marino. Over the top, 1 foot in. Well, the ball crossed the pylon. Let's see. The foot looked like it came down out of... No, I think his right foot may have come in before the left foot, and then the ball crossed the pylon.
You're absolutely right. The first foot is down, inbounds. The second foot hit the white line, but it was in the end zone after he's already there. And now the officials will want to talk about this and take a look. Watch the right foot. It's down.
Then the ball crosses the goal line, and then the right foot touches, or the left foot touches down out of bounds.
And the call on the field is a touchdown. So it will have to be indisputable evidence.
I mean, you can't be in much better position than Greg Jones was, and Matthew Stafford just put a beautiful touch on that throw.
And I think this helps the indisputable evidence part. Our spotter, Dave Dare, is an attorney. When he says, if you're talking back and forth with the officials and they can't make up their mind,
review, the ruling on the field is confirmed as a touchdown.
If they can't make up their mind right away, it is by definition in dispute. So it cannot be indisputable evidence. Therefore, you can't overturn it. I thought that was a wonderful argument. That works better for a jury trial, obviously, than a judge.
Did he charge you for that information?
Yes, he did. Stafford, 25 touchdown passes. A new school record. Congratulations to Matthew Stafford. Well, Stod still hasn't embraced a true playoff for college football, but there is a plan that intrigues him, and we'll talk about the +1 system in just a moment.
96, there are 26 cats in a show. Use the equation on page 337 to find out.
Something big is happening on your birthday. Because this year, we're inviting you to join us at one of our parks on your birthday, absolutely free. So log on to register your birthday at DisneyParks.com. What will you celebrate?
It's got like toolboxes. It's a Ram box. That's pretty freaking cool. You know, you need that space. Put some fishing poles in there, shovels and hammers and stuff.
Go, 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 go!
I can't believe they let us do that.
Birds do it. Bees do it. Goldfish in the privacy of bowls do it. Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Let's fall in love. Let's fall in love.
ABC's Desperate Housewives. All new Sunday, 9/8 Central on ABC.
This February, the other big ball game arrives. ABC's Wipeout Bowl. Cheerleaders versus couch potatoes. Sunday, February 1st on ABC.
Look, take it in.
Do you know how far out we are here?
Welcome back to ESPN on the ABC special presentation of the Capital One Bowl. We're here in Orlando, Florida, and time for our ESPNU All-State Standings review. Look at all the one-loss teams and throw in number 12, Utah. Now, keep that in mind because we're going to tell you Todd's idea on how we may be able to improve the bowl and playoff and BCS system. It sounds like a good idea to me, but then I'm easily influenced.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I am a bowl guy. I always have been. I'm not a playoff guy. I love bowl games, and I think they're great for college football. Love to keep them in town.
Pooch kick. Taken by one of the fullbacks. He's up to about the 49-yard line. That was Matthew Hawken. All right, what's your idea? Right now we have the all the BCS bowls, but you want to change that slightly.
Well, it's just, and it's really not even my own idea. It's some other people have come up with. It's an unseeded +1, which means you would have, I would say you would need 5 BCS bowl games. We have 4 right now. You need a 5th one, and you just have your 6 conference champions. They each get a guaranteed spot. You'd have 4 at-large teams, and you would play all 5 of those games on either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, and then you'd have one more week where out of those 5 games, you would have a ranking system, a BCS system, whatever you have, that would go one more week, and 2 of those winners of those 5 games would play for a national championship.
Part of what you want to do with the New Year's Day and New Year's Eve thing is make it really special again the way it used to be.
Well, that was always my great memory of college football. Is New Year's Day eating pork and sauerkraut at home with my family and watching college football. Of course, food had to be involved, right? But watching those major bowl games and make that day special again, and make all of those games matter and make all of them count. They would all be equally significant because at least you'd have 6 teams, if not 8 or 10, that were still in the running for a championship game.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you fry sauerkraut?
No, you don't fry. No, don't fry. But potentially you could have something like this, and you know, I just kind of threw this together. Obviously, you'd still have the Rose Bowl, would have the Big Ten, Pac-10. You'd still have a Penn State USC matchup. The host of the Sugar Bowl would be the SEC champ, Florida versus Texas, Oklahoma, the Fiesta Bowl. Just some awesome matchups with teams like a team like Alabama that lost in the SEC championship, a heart-wrenching loss after being undefeated, ranked #1 a good part of the year, still has a shot. Texas, who feels left out at this point, still would have a shot to get to that final championship game. Even a Utah, who's undefeated, the only undefeated team with a big win, could have a chance. And then I have the Capital One Bowl down there. That's not a BCS game, but this plan would necessitate having another BCS bowl.
Yes, it would.
I think this bowl would be a great bowl to have as an additional BCS bowl if that ever came to that.
I think it's a wonderful idea, and I think that one extra level you would still have disputes, and certainly people would say, well, now we're going to have to take it one more game, and that might get really iffy. But if you do take it the one more level, at least you would give the system with the human polls and the computer polls, which I think ought to be thrown out totally. That's just stupid. But at least it would give the system one more week to work.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing it would give you is on that one weekend, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, whatever those days are, all of those 10 teams will be playing on equal footing. It would be a great team against a great team. You know, you have some teams now that play in a conference championship game and other conferences don't. And that would at least put it on equal footing for all of those teams involved for one day.
Poyer lost the ball, has to cover up back at the 48-yard line. And As long as I don't have to eat kraut, I'm in.
Now, have you ever had pork and sauerkraut?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I'm just kidding. I actually do eat things that not nearly the portions you do. And Hoyer goes down again, and that Georgia defense with 6 sacks today. Jarius Wynn led the charge on this one.
Well, this has to be a real redemption kind of game for Willie Martinez, the defensive coordinator, because it has been a rough year, particularly down the stretch. The injuries took their toll on this defense, but today, after a couple weeks off, they have played like a great Georgia defense.
With Capital One Card Lab's new triple rewards, me and the lads are having a tough time deciding which category to choose. Like triple rewards on electronics. Or gas and groceries.
10 items, Bob.
Maybe triple rewards on restaurants and entertainment. Or travel.
Introducing triple rewards of your choice. Log on to Card Lab at CapitalOne.com to personalize your card.
What's in your wallet?
They protect us from harm.
There's narcotics in there.
And defend our freedom.
Looks like it might be weapons. Take him down. Move. With your hands. Don't move.
Tuesday, ABC presents a new series.
This is somebody who's coming in here to harm America.
About the heroes who keep us safe at home.
They're going to mess with us, and they're going to get the best shot we got.
Oh, yeah!
ABC's Homeland Security USA premieres Tuesday, 8/7 Central, part of Bring in the New Week on ABC.
Aerial coverage of today's game provided to you by DirecTV. Temperature in the high 60s today and a little windy here in Orlando. Last gasp for Michigan State. 4th and a mile. They've got to go for it, down 2 scores. Hoyer deep over the middle, complete to Dell, and Dell may have a first down.
Well, he did. He had
one of the line judges is marking it short. The other one marked it enough for a first down.
He had it for a minute, and then he tried to bounce it back to get some extra yardage, and I don't know if he maintained it, but
now
he had it on the catch. Right there, he probably has it if he falls forward. But as soon as he started to back up,
he went back on his own too.
It's just a matter of what they're gonna the mark is.
He had the ball in his right arm, and I don't think he ever got. Well, no, he did switch it.
If he would have just fallen down on the catch, it would have been a first down.
Now, where they're marking it, I believe it's going to be a first down.
Oh my gosh.
What a link short. Now Mark D'Antonio really upset. I think he got the best possible spot he could have gotten out of that.
Yeah, again, when the catch was made, if he just falls down forward, it's a first down.
The previous play is under further review.
And if you're Mark D'Antonio, this is all you can do.
You got no choice.
Might as well give it a shot here.
Yeah, you got no choice. You've got to review this or challenge it.
Now, it's questionable whether. See where the yellow line is. The ball never crossed that yellow line, and yet the officials, when they came in,
I think it crossed it at one
point. From this angle, it did, and they marked it in front of the line. It's not where his feet were. It's where the ball was. Now, at this angle, the ball never crosses the entire yellow line. From the other angle, and whether this is superimposed in the correct way.
But I think
look at that.
The point of it is, too, for Mark Dell, is that he went backwards on his own. He did not go backwards because he was hit.
He
went backwards on his own, and then he was hit after that.
Which is why I say they got the best possible spot out of this that they could.
I agree. I don't think this will be overturned.
No. Once again, indisputable. Because the call on the field, it's going to be short.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called. First down, Georgia.
So you lose the challenge, you also lose the timeout. Lisa, no. Oh, it was a booth review. He did not throw the challenge flag? No?
I think he would have if they wouldn't have, stopped. I think he was prepared to do that.
You're right. So Michigan State will have 2 timeouts left. And they'll have to use them both on defense here, trying to stop Marino, and he gains a couple. They used their second timeout and stop it at 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Let's take a look. I want to go back and show you some of the best taste of the town this year. Take a look.
That's all, folks.
I'll tell you what, I had a blast this year, and Brian Yarrow, the guy who produced this segment, just did a wonderful job. Yeah, Dave and Sven, the camera guys that worked on it every week, it was outstanding work, and guys that take a lot of pride in it, and well, we had a lot of fun. And tell you what, I had about as good a meal last night as I've ever had, though. We had a very special dinner. Mark Beaupre, the executive chef at the JW Marriott, had a big dinner for the athletic directors of both teams and some of the people from Capital One, and boy, was it fantastic. A 7-course gourmet meal, and very, very special way to spend New Year's Eve.
Gourmet wasn't exactly what you went in for on Taste of the Town.
Well, no, it was a little different.
Unless gourmet meant fried in a bucket of grease. Here's some of the outtakes. You're going to love these as they take another timeout. You'll love these.
In 1986, a guy named Weaver D opened a restaurant. Jeez. Like we're in New York. Sports information director Bud Ford to.
Sorry.
All right, I'm putting too much pressure on myself here. Relax.
Well, you can't be expected to be perfect all the time. No, well, you did a wonderful job. And I'm sure Todd will be revisiting some of these places next year.
I'm going in rehab right now when the season's over.
I got to make sure I'll bring my stethoscope with me again next year. Detox. Marino trying to get the first down and keep the clock running. He's going to come up just a little bit short. We hope you'll be able to check out all of this season's Taste of the Towns. All you have to do is go to ESPN.com and search Taste of the Town.
Well, one of these teams we knew was going to finish the season with 10 wins. I mean, these two teams were so interestingly identical coming in. 9-3. They both finished 6-2 in their league. They both really, when you get down to it, the 3 games they lost were the 3 best teams that both of these teams played. They didn't play their best in the biggest games. They both finished the season with really disappointing losses. Michigan State got blown out at Penn State. A chance to tie for the Big Ten championship. Georgia lost to their in-state rival, Georgia Tech, for the first time in, I don't know, 6-7 years, I think, and at home. And so both of them had a chance to come in here and really redeem the season and win 10 games. And it looks as though the Georgia Bulldogs are going to be the ones that they go away with the victory. But and you know what, that's big. I mean, there's a big difference between finishing 10-3 and finishing 9-4.
Yes,
it doesn't sound like much, but it really is.
It's huge. Matthew Stafford, our Capital One player of the game. He was brilliant, particularly in the third quarter. But if you could give it to a group, it would be to the Georgia defense, I think, because they were magnificent the entire day.
And much maligned coming into this game after the way their season ended.
Georgia trying to kick it away. They get it out of there. Nobody deep. will come to rest inside the 5-yard line. While we have the chance, we want to send along our thoughts and our prayers to Jim Vandervoort, one of our great cameramen who could not be with us this week. Has lost his mom, Rosalie. And Jimmy, we're thinking about you, pal. And of course, our longtime friend Joe, his older brother as well. Our thoughts go out to you guys. You know how much we care about you. And to the rest of our great crew, it has been truly a joy of our careers to be able to work with everybody in this group, because they're as good as it gets in this business. Yes, there is. Boy, you're chased out of the end zone. He'll get out of bounds at about the 12.
You know, it's one thing to work with talented people and to put something on the air or put a product together that you're proud of. It's another thing to do that with people that you really have fun being around.
Yes.
And that, to me, that's what makes our crew on this ESPN Saturday Night Crew, that's what makes it special, is we have a lot of fun together, and we do work that we're all pretty proud of.
Yeah, you can yank everybody's chain. Everybody takes it for what it's worth, and it's just a joy for us to do it. Thank you, fellas. And Larry just takes care of our booth.
Yeah.
Works so hard every week, making sure we have all the comforts of home. And Hoyer going to throw this away. That probably should be intentional grounding, because there was nobody there. Irvin with another sack. That's 7 for the day for that Georgia defense. And Mark Fredrickson and Dave Dare, who help us up here in the booth all year long. Thanks for another great season, fellas. You're just the best. And to Holly Rowe, the hardest working sideline reporter in television.
Oh, boy.
Hoyer throws this one up for grab, picked by Rashad Jones. A fitting in for the Georgia defense as White tried to blow him up. And a 28-yard return, a little pushing and shoving at the end of this as Michigan State's frustrations are starting to come out.
Well, for Michigan State and Mark D'Antonio, don't think for a moment that he isn't doing a great job in East Lansing, because he is. I mean, last year, the challenge for Michigan State was to figure out how to win close games, because they didn't. This year, they won close games, but they didn't win their big games. They got blown out by Ohio State. They got blown out by Penn State in their 2 biggest games. Well, this was now their 3rd biggest game, and they played much better, much more competitive, but not the better team at the end of the day. But Mark D'Antonio certainly has things going in the right direction at East Lansing.
We saw what he could do at Cincinnati, which was truly a remarkable rebuilding job for that program. He's moved on to Michigan State, and there's no doubt in our minds, I think I can speak for you, that he's going to have great long-term success there.
And I think the administration there feels that too. They did a new contract adjustment with him, and a mutual commitment on the part of Michigan State and Mark D'Antonio to be at East Lansing for a long time.
Congratulations to Mark Richt and the Georgia Bulldogs as they pull off a big one here, and I think you used the right word earlier, Todd, redemption for their season. They finally started to get some players back healthy, particularly on defense, and they played great today. And Michigan State obviously can no longer stop the clock, and it will tick down its final 5 seconds. And Georgia has won its 10th game, and Matthew Stafford, boy, was he great in the second half. And Holly's down there with Stafford right now. Holly?
Well, Matthew, things weren't going that great for your offense in the first half, but something changed in the 3rd quarter. What was it for you?
I think we just started executing. You know, we kept shooting ourselves in the foot there in the first half and just not playing fundamental football and hurting ourselves with some penalties and drop balls and bad throws by me, frankly. So we picked it up in the second half, and guys started making plays.
What happened during that long drive? You guys went down the field about 96 yards. What happened there?
You know, we just executed. That was the biggest thing. And guys played great up front, gave me plenty of time to throw all day. And Noshawn obviously ran the ball great. He's a great back. And guys just started making plays, and we relaxed out there and had some fun.
How do you describe the way the defense kept you in this ball game?
It was unbelievable. They played fantastic throughout the game and really kept us in the first half, gave us a chance to come back and feel like we had a realistic shot at coming back and winning this thing in the second half.
What's the timetable for your decision?
I couldn't tell you right now. I'm just going to enjoy this win and figure stuff out later.
All right, thanks, Matthew.
All right, thank you very much.
Holly, thank you so much. The final score of our 2009 Capital One Bowl was number 15, Georgia 24, 18th ranked Michigan State 12. For a wrap-up of this game, catch us on ESPN News in just a few minutes. For Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our entire crew, this is Mike Patrick. Happy New Year, everyone. Now stay tuned for John Saunders, Greg James, and Doug Flutie right after this from our